and tickets to Hale Center Theater. Say thanks to your teacher today at kslnewsradio.com/teacher from Cypress Credit Union and KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time is 8:59. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74% APR. Here's Cameron Elliott.
Well, I-15 is kind of a mess right now in Utah County. We've got that slowing on the southbound I-15 by the Orem Temple due to an accident in the left lane and shoulder. We've got a little bit of trouble not far from there, also by 2100 North in Lehigh if you're headed northbound. We're not quite sure what that is. There's no accident reported by UDOT. Nothing that I can see on the cameras. Might just be an odd little traffic snake. And still not far from there, 2100 North, actually on 2100 North as you pass through there. Also very heavy and slow. Now, as you get northbound, it looks like that traffic is still going to be bothering you. Also by that crash that we had southbound, it looks like it's just leaching onto both sides of the road. Oddly enough, once you get to Salt Lake County, things are looking pretty smooth. No trouble past Point of the Mountain. You get a little bit slow once you come through the south interchange, but you should be good headed right into downtown. Cormac?
Southbound I-15, still just a little slowdowns left over from the north interchange down toward Warm Springs Road, but those will quickly work their way out. Eastbound I-80, though, that right lane still just very full between Kimball Junction and the US 40 turnoff. And in Weber-Davis counties, just normal and light delays to expect on the city streets, Highway 89 in South Ogden and SR 193 through Davis County. Doug Smith has your summer ride. Their award-winning lineup features Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Subaru, Mitsubishi, Chevy, and more. Visit heydoug.net today. Hey Doug. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's going to be hot this week. 96 today, 98 tomorrow. Right now it's 75 downtown. Inside Sources coming up next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
9 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour. It's primary election day, but the time to send your ballot in the mail, that's already come and gone.
We now have to make sure that ballots are in the care, custody, and control of the county clerk by 8 p.m. on election night.
Salt Lake County Clerk Lanny Chapman says that means you need to be at least in line to leave your ballot in a drop box or vote in person by 8 o'clock tonight. If you are, you have nothing to worry about. Voters are also now being asked to write the last 4 digits of their driver's license, state ID, or social security number on the ballot's return envelope. If you forget, don't panic. Your clerk can verify your identity with your signature between now and 2029. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The Iranian president is in Pakistan today. He will discuss the Memorandum of Understanding with the U.S. The White House says talks over their nuclear program continue, with top officials claiming that Iran is willing to allow nuclear weapons inspectors into the country. More from ABC's Britt Clennett on what President Trump posted on the U.S. unfreezing billions of dollars of Iranian funds and lifting oil sanctions.
By the U.S. temporarily lifting oil sanctions on Iran, what it is opening the door for Tehran to sell oil in American currency, in U.S. dollars, for the first time in almost 2 decades. Now, despite Iran saying there's no timeline or saying there's no commitment on allowing those inspectors in, President Trump, he is defending this deal with Iran, claiming in posts on social media that Iran has fully and completely agreed to these high-level, limitless nuclear inspections, he said.
The president says any financial relief offered to Iran would come with conditions, namely that freed up money would be put towards the purchase of food and medical supplies exclusively from the United States. Your money at this moment, the Dow bouncing back a little bit, up 41 points right now to 51,753. Coming up, we've got a crash on I-15 between Orem and Provo, causing some delays on the freeway still. We'll check traffic and weather next. KSL News Time, 9:02.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Kitchen and bath transformations start with AMC Building Materials. AMC Building Materials is a large kitchen cabinet and countertop supplier serving both wholesale and retail customers. AMC offers factory direct pricing on all interior remodeling materials, giving you exceptional value without sacrificing quality. Most standard items are available for quick payment and pickup right away. AMC Building Materials provides professional service, free design, and free on-site measurements, along with expert installation by top AMC professionals. From bold kitchen designs to beautiful functional bathrooms, AMC delivers outstanding value with styles you'll love. And best of all, most projects can be completed within just 10 days. Come experience beauty you can see, quality you can feel, and service you can trust. Get directions to the new AMC Building Materials showroom at 3678 South 700 West today and schedule your free estimate. Visit amckitchenslc.org. That's amckitchenslc.org.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Cormac, how's that crash in Utah County?
Well, not so good, Andy. That's our worst delays right now. It's both sides of I-15 have an accident now in between Center Street in Provo and up to University Parkway. It looks like on the northbound side, they are out of traffic and in the right shoulder, but on the southbound side, they're still blocking that left lane, so it's still pretty heavy delays both directions of I-15 there in Utah County. But once you're past those cleanups, you are in the clear. It looks like I-15 northbound in Salt Lake County, just a little bit of leftover delays approaching 13th South, and South 15 just barely slow at 600 North, and it's eastbound I-80, that right lane still very slow between Kimball Junction and the US 40 turnoff. From Beethoven's Ninth to icons like Idina Menzel, summer sounds better under the stars. Plan your visit today at DeerValleyMusicFestival.org. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather forecast. It's a hot week with highs in the 90s. Tomorrow, potentially reaching triple digits. Eek. There's still a small chance of rain, though those thunderstorms could be from tomorrow night to Wednesday morning. Right now, it is 77 degrees and partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Your voice, your vote 2026.
It is an exciting time of the year, isn't it?
It is. Look, whether you're heading to the ballot box or the drop box, Utahns across the state today can cast their vote in the primary election. Today is the last day. It is primary election day.
And for Democrats, there's something to be excited about. There's a very close race. There's 4 candidates for the 1st Congressional District primary. And Republicans, of course, they have primaries all over the place, as usual.
So congressional races are important, but so are many other state level and county level races across the state.
So your voice, your vote. You have until 8 o'clock today to get out and vote. If you haven't mailed in your ballot, go to your...
Don't mail it.
Don't mail it. Either go to the place where you vote or just drop it in the box. But you've got to get your ballot in by 8 o'clock tonight.
So we have special Election Day coverage during our show today, and then a special tonight, 2 hours from 7 to 9 p.m., special Inside Sources. But right now we're going to kick off with Ryan Cowley, the State Director of Elections. Thanks for joining us, Ryan.
You bet. It's good to be here.
Hey, I want to ask you right off the bat, what's the turnout looking like so far?
Yeah, so right now, as of this morning, we're at about a 23% turnout. So it's a little light. We should probably get up into the mid-30s, maybe even up to 40%.
And as primary elections go, Ryan, how does that fit? Is it normal? Is it better than normal? Or what are we looking at?
Yeah,
if those numbers continue.
Average number. I mean, it feels low, but it's about an average number.
So how many people typically vote on Election Day versus before Election Day?
As far as like dropped ballots, usually it's about a third to half of the votes come in the day before the election and Election Day. In a primary election, maybe 2% of the population comes in, or voting population comes in, votes in person.
Wow.
So majority of the ballots will be drop box or by mail ballots.
Wow, interesting. So I want to ask you about results tonight. So I know that with the law change that went into effect last year about having to have everything in hand by 8 p.m., when can we expect to see, first of all, preliminary results, and then when can we feel fairly certain about these results?
Yeah, so the results will start being posted anytime after 8 o'clock tonight. So probably 8:30 for most of the counties. They'll at least get their first group of votes out there. And those will be on our website, which is electionresults.utah.gov. As far as the new law being in hand, that probably won't really change the way results are presented because there's still a lot of work. Even if you get ballots at 8 o'clock, you still have to go through all of the processes to verify those ballots. So we'll probably see something similar where, a good majority of the ballots will be counted tonight. Close races will always be close races, and those really are never finalized until the canvass anyway. But over the next couple of days, and with the primary having lower turnout, I would expect within, probably by Thursday, Friday, you'll have almost all of the ballots counted.
Ryan, can you remind our listeners about mail-in ballots because they can't mail them in today? They can't be postmarked today. They have to have been received today, correct?
Correct, yeah. So with the new laws that took effect last year, the ballots have to be in hand. So make sure you take it to a drop box or into a polling place. All of the polling places will have drop boxes, but make sure you physically take that in. Do not mail those in at this point.
I wanted to know if you could talk to our listeners about voting today if they maybe hadn't registered to vote ahead of time. What can they do if they want to vote today?
Yeah, so to vote in person, you're going to want to take ID, and that does need to be photo ID. And we always recommend taking proof of residency. So if your driver's license has your current address, that's fine. But if not, take something that proves your residency as well. In order to vote in the Republican primary, you do have to be a registered Republican. If you're unaffiliated, you can register affiliate at the polls and join the Republican Party. But if you're registered with another party, then that's not an option. You do have to be a Republican. As far as the Democrats go, anybody can walk in, show ID, and request the Democratic ballot. And they can do that, particularly in Salt Lake for CD1 and then some of the other areas throughout the state that do have a Democratic ballot. But you can register at the polls if you're not registered. A good resource is to go to vote.utah.gov, and you can look up your registration, and it will tell you, basically your address, things like that. It'll also tell you your party affiliation, and that'll provide some options. And there's also bios and things like that from the candidates, so you can find a lot of information there as well as your polling place.
We're joined this morning by Ryan Cowley, State Director of Elections. And Ryan, this might be a better question for the Salt Lake County Clerk, Lanny Chapman, who's going to be joining us later. But do we know whether there have been any people who have requested? At one point, we heard something like 6,700 ballots being requested in Salt Lake County for the first congressional district race by people who are not necessarily registered as Democrats.
Yeah, that'd be a better question for Lanny. I don't have that number off the top of my head.
Okay,
we'll save that one. I wonder, too, if you can talk to us about what voters can expect. Like, what if they're in line at 7:55, but it's quite a long line? What happens at 8 o'clock?
Yeah, if you're in line by 8 o'clock, you'll be allowed to vote. This year we don't really anticipate lines, but in some of the previous years, there may have been 15, 20, half an hour line, sometimes a little bit longer. As long as you're at the polling place in line by 8 o'clock, you will be allowed to vote.
And how do people know at this point in time, Ryan, where they can go and vote? Because primary elections, we probably have fewer places to vote because it's not as big. But how can a person find out where their election spot is?
Yeah, they can go to vote.utah.gov, and there's a lookup tool there that you can use. Also, you can call your county clerk, and if you have questions, just reach out to them. They're super helpful and will help you find the right place to go vote.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. Ryan Calley, State Director of Elections for the state of Utah. So he said we're up just a hair from yesterday. Yesterday we're at 19%. Today we're just a little over 20%.
But he thinks we're going to get into the 30s. Yeah.
Yeah.
He think if we get a third of voters coming out for a primary, I think that's a good turnout. I mean, obviously we could do better.
We could do better.
But I would also say this. I didn't have a primary, so I don't know if I count in the 67% that didn't vote because I couldn't vote.
Yeah, that's an interesting
You know what I mean?
question.
I mean, there were no primaries in my area for the Democrats. Of course, I'm in the second congressional district, so I'm in Blake Moore and Carrie Ann Lisenby's.
Right, so you can't vote in
but
CD1.
I can't vote in that one. But anyway, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Well, coming up next on Inside Sources, we have an interesting challenge in Juab County for their election because the town of Eureka has been evacuated. We're going to talk to a couple of county clerks when we come back after the break, especially getting a take from the rural counties and what they do differently than the more urban ones. Stay with us.
How will we ever defeat the British?
By remembering what we're fighting for. General, a country of our own that will one day celebrate 250 years. How will we celebrate, sir? By going to Strong Volkswagen, where every vehicle is a dime.
A dime, sir?
Yes, one dime down at Strong Volkswagen.
Hear, hear.
With great price reductions on 250 vehicles.
It sounds glorious, sir.
Oh, it is. Lease new 2026 Jetta S, just $235 a month, $235. All-wheel drive Atlas, just $432 a month. And you get a lifetime warranty. Lifetime. And financing, sir? Those with a job and a dime shall drive away.
One dime down.
The 250 sales event.
Save thousands with event pricing on 250 vehicles.
At Strong Volkswagen. For over 70 years, Strong Volkswagen.
Located downtown, strongvw.com.
Strongvw.com.
And no tax, right, sir?
Well, for details, call 801-596-2200.
This is Nate Orchard from Advanced Window Products. When you live in Utah, your windows do a lot more than let the light in. They protect your home from freezing winters, blazing summers, and everything in between. That's why Advanced Window Products builds every window for your local climate. No middleman, no out-of-state delays, just factory direct quality, custom made for your home. Imagine a quieter home, a warmer home, a cooler home. Our high-efficiency vinyl windows are engineered to lower your energy bills and boost your comfort all year round. And installation is done by our own certified in-house crews, never subcontractors. That's why Utah homeowners give us 5-star reviews. Right now, take advantage of our anniversary sale. For a limited time, get $2,500 off when you buy 10 or more windows. Call 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. For 40 years, Advanced Window Products has been the name Utah trusts for custom replacement windows and sliding glass doors. Advanced Window Products, built here, installed here, trusted here. Call 801-850-9100 for that $2,500 off or visit us at advancedwindows.com to schedule your free in-home estimate.
Everything to my back is dark.
High in the alpine wilderness.
Really ugly clouds coming over from the north.
A place
The ridgeline is imposing, the escarpments, the drops.
where survival,
It's dark now. I have nothing.
is never certain.
This is not good.
My name's Dave Cawley, and I'm the host of a podcast called Uinta Triangle. It's about the disappearance of an Australian hiker named Eric.
Our conclusion, and that of the sheriff, is that the mountains have decided to keep him.
Come retrace Eric's footprints with me.
You have done this walk too, but this is your backyard.
Did he really make a wrong turn, or did he decide that he was done?
He is not the first or last person to vanish in this remote region.
It was haunting to see the photos. I mean, really.
Find and follow the podcast series Uinta Triangle. That's Uinta, spelled U-I-N-T-A, Triangle, wherever you get your podcasts. All episodes out now.
Can you hear it? That's the sound of nature waking up in Box Elder County. Spring has sprung, and the first visitors are already here. From grebes to geese, Bear River Bird Refuge is alive with the sound of thousands of wings. And it's not just the birds who are invited. There's plenty for you to enjoy. Experience the world-class minerals at Crystal Hot Springs. Stand on the spot where the railroads joined and forged the destiny of a nation at Golden Spike National Historic Park. Check out the jaw-dropping murals up and down Tremonton's charming Main Street. The list goes on and on. Hungry? From fine dining to classic comfort food, Box Elder County has something that's sure to hit the spot. In Box Elder County, the air is fresher, the sky is wider, and spring is in full bloom. Come wake up your senses and plan your spring escape at visitboxeldercounty.com. Produced in partnership with the Utah Office of Tourism.
Progressive knows it ain't easy navigating the open plains of home insurance, but there is one man who can help tame that wild herd of options. The Home Quote Explorer.
Note, Progressive's Home Quote Explorer is not a real person, but an online tool that lets you compare home insurance.
He's the type of feller who helps you decide on the right insurance, even if it ain't with him.
Again, not a person, just an online tool that helps you find great home coverage.
A real pioneer.
Okay, fine. Just do the thing. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit. Make a plan. Be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
And expanded Inside Sources.
Well, we've been talking about fires throughout the state. We're also talking about primary elections throughout the state, and there's a couple of counties that are dealing with both, Holly, not the least of which is Juab County, where the town of Eureka has been evacuated, but they're still proceeding with the primary elections there.
So I wanted to talk to the county clerk there because voters might have questions from Eureka. How can they vote today? What if they got a mail-in ballot, they filled it out, but they didn't have a chance to send it before the evacuation?
Yeah, and it's also going to be interesting to know just how we do things in the more rural counties because we don't get a take from them very often. So let's talk with the person who knows the best. This is Juab County Attorney Tennille Calloway. Tennille, thanks for joining us this morning.
County clerk.
What did I say?
I was like, yes, county
attorney.
clerk, not county attorney.
Oh, I'm back to my days when I worked at the county attorney's office. Sorry, Tennille. That you can run for that next time.
No worries.
All right.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah, you've got a good county attorney down there, by the way.
Yes, we do, for sure.
Thanks for joining us, first of all. I know it's a really busy day for you and a little extra chaotic. So I wondered if you could talk to us just really specifically about Eureka voters right now. What do they need to know?
Yeah, we really just want them to know there is still the option to come and vote in person. We have had calls from several residents that are concerned that their mail-in ballots at their house and what do we do? And we're just trying to get the message out that come to our office, come vote in person. It's not too late. So, yeah.
Are you getting a take yet, Tennille, what kind of turnout you're getting so far this year? We just spoke with Ryan
Cowley, the state elections officer.
State elections office. He thought that they were in the 20%, may get up to the 30s. Do you think that Juab County is going to be similar to that?
Yeah, we're actually at 30% right now.
Oh, wow.
We have a really good turnout. I think a couple of our big races will be determined at this election, but the last numbers that we checked, we were sitting at 30%. So, which is really good for a primary.
So can you talk to us about running elections in rural Utah? It's got to be different than some of the bigger places along the Wasatch Front.
Yeah, it is different. Definitely less staff. We run it with a staff of 3, and then we have some poll workers that come and help us. I think the other big difference too is the big cities may have multiple vote centers, and we have one, which is just here at our office.
With the mail-in ballots having been due already by tonight, I guess at 8 o'clock, Tennille, when do you expect that you could potentially start seeing some results or start being able to publish some results?
I try and wait until we have processed everything that we've received, just because we don't get a huge number. So at 8 o'clock, we will work hard all day long to be processing as they come in. But we are usually posting results. We shoot between 9 and 10. We try and get them as quick as we can, but I really like doing one post and making sure that we've been able to process everything that we've received.
Are there some races down in Juab County that have some primaries other than, what are you in the 3rd congressional district?
We are, I believe so, yes. We have 2 county commission races and a sheriff race that will be determined in this primary. So they're big races for our small community.
All right. So just a reminder for people who have been evacuated from Eureka, they can come and vote in person, even if they left their ballot on the counter at their house.
Yes. And we also encourage any who may have put it in the post office with mail not getting out to give us a call. We can check and see if we've received their ballot. And if not, we would encourage them to come in and vote in person. And then at least their vote would count. If we do get it in the mail later, it wouldn't count. So we also encourage anyone who may have put it in the mail to call us and see if we've gotten it.
So that'll be at the county offices in Nephi?
Yes. Yep. We're at the county building in Nephi at 160 North Main.
All right.
That's super helpful. Thanks, Tennille. Good luck today. It'll be a long day for
thank you.
Now, Tennille, we quit our show at 9 o'clock. So if you could get some results in close to 9, that would help us a little bit.
Okay, I will. We'll work super hard on that.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot. That's a lot of fun. I mean, she has a good spirit about her, and it's got to be interesting. And the people in Eureka should know.
Yeah.
If you're mailing ballots at your house, just go to the clerk's office there in Nephi. You can vote in person. You have until 8 o'clock tonight to do that. If you haven't registered and you live in Juab County or anywhere, you can still go to your clerk's office and register, take valid form of ID, register, and you can vote. You can still get a ballot. You have until 8 o'clock tonight. So let's get those numbers up into the 30s at least.
I was really impressed. So first of all, she's talking to us at 9:30 in the morning. She'll be in her offices until after 9 o'clock tonight. And I bet she started before the polls opened, which was at 7 o'clock this morning.
Oh, yeah. And she said there were 2 county commission and 1 county sheriff and the county sheriff's race, but that she felt were going to be decided today.
Yeah.
So the primary,
reliably Republican is what she's saying.
Right. So the primary is very important, like it is in every county,
Sure.
but it actually will decide the races in some counties.
Yeah, so really interesting. So when we come, we're going to have an opportunity to talk with the Davis County clerk when we were able to get him on the line. But look, there's the turnout in some places, I think, where the races are more interesting, and I'm going to put that in air quotes, that we're going to see higher. And so when we have final results, we'll be able to look at and break down and say, okay, well, turnout was up in Salt Lake County overall, but really where we saw the spike was CD1, which is what I expect.
Right. I love Tennille's excitement when she's like, we're in the 30s already.
I know.
We vote here. Our people come out. They, don't talk to us about 15, 20%. We're already in the 30s. So she felt pretty good about the people in Juab County, as they should. And good for her. Good spirit she has. And I also liked her attitude that, hey, we're just going to post once. So it may be between 9 and 10, maybe after our show ends, unless KSL decides to keep us until 10 o'clock tonight.
Please don't volunteer.
to get some of those results in. Maybe she could post something about 8:59 and
right. And then we could say, hey, wait, we got something.
Yeah. I do think this year is exciting. I love it, and I love that we're going to be here tonight because we will have some results.
We will.
At
Absolutely.
8 o'clock,
yep,
or at
we
least
will.
shortly thereafter.
Well, we have with us on the line Brian McKenzie. He's the Davis County clerk. Thanks for joining us, Brian.
Yes, good morning. Great to be with you.
We wanted to ask you if you could just talk to us about what turnout is looking like in Davis County and if it's different than previous election cycles.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, so the turnout is light compared to some of our major elections, but for a primary election, here in Davis County, it's really just the 2 primary parties who are having primary elections. We've got the Republicans that are county-wide, and then we have a Senate district on the very north end of our county. So really very few who can participate, but we're sitting at about a 25 to 30% turnout right now, and we anticipate when it's all said and done, we'll be somewhere between 40 and 50%.
Now, you're in the 2nd Congressional District, right? So you've got a primary there for the Republicans.
We do, yes. Yep. Yeah, Davis County is completely in the 2nd Congressional District now.
Have you noticed any difference, Brian, with respect to the new law, well, it's now a year old, about the fact that mail-in ballots have to be in by today at 8 o'clock?
I think we saw that impact more this last election, last year, than we've seen now. We've been very proactive, communicating out to the voters, letting them know what these rules are, to ensure that they get their ballots in timely and so they can be counted.
So have you experienced any, conspiracies about your elections process up in Davis County?
There's always questions about the elections. We want people that have questions to reach out to us and talk to us and ask us those questions. We always do our pre-election town hall and tour. We tell people there are no questions off limits. So if people do have questions or concerns, we're hoping that they're reaching out, that they're learning information for themselves, having that personal experience in elections to where it doesn't develop into any kind of a conspiracy.
All right. Thank you so much. That was Brian McKenzie, Davis County Clerk. And when we come back, we've talked about congressional primaries, but there's lots of other races to talk about too. And we're going to talk about some of the ones we haven't had a chance to talk about yet, coming up next.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour. One northern Utah community had to go through security to attend their local festival, something they'd never had to do before. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has the details.
South Ogden Days had 2 security checkpoints that attendees had to go through, get scanned with a metal detector, and do a bag check. The rest of the area was fenced off so that no one could enter who hadn't been through security. I asked if there was a threat that made them take these measures, but event manager Danielle Bendinelli says it was cautionary and it helped them maintain park rules like no alcohol or dogs.
People in Davis County are anxiously awaiting tomorrow's grand opening of the Syracuse Costco. Syracuse Mayor Dave Mon says they've been working on plans to control the new traffic.
Sure, there will be more people, but we have planned for it. We've taken traffic flow measures to make sure that people can get where they can get.
Mon is also excited about all the other businesses that will likely come along after Costco opens. He says there are reports showing that Costco is by far the best store to bring in other businesses that'll help Syracuse's economy. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. House lawmakers are expected to vote today on a housing bill that already passed in the Senate. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze reports.
This is a rare bipartisan win, the Senate passing what could be the most transformative piece of legislation in decades to try to lower the cost of buying a home. In an 85-5 vote, the Senate last night advanced the 21st Century Road to Housing Act. This will now head to the House, where it is expected to pass this week. Then will go to President Trump's desk for his signature.
There's a shortage of an estimated 3.7 million affordable homes across the U.S. This bill restricts Wall Street investors from buying single-family homes. Your money at this moment, the Dow now down 38 points to 51,674. Coming up, it is going to be hot for the next several days, although there might be some moisture that shows up sometime tomorrow. KSL Weather's next. KSL News Time, 9:32.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
You know, people ask me whether this SOTA diet nutrition is the real deal because they hear me doing ads for them, and I can say unequivocally, yes, it is. I hooked up with them about the second week of April because I needed to lose just short of 30 pounds, and I wasn't doing a very good job myself. So I said, can you figure out a way for me to get there? They said, yep, we can do it. We'll do it based on your diet. You can buy food, everything you do in this plan, you can get at the grocery store, and we'll just change your diet. We'll work with you. I have a nutritionist that calls me every Wednesday, actually has me weigh myself and take a picture of my weight when I stand on the scale. And I lost over 4 pounds a week for 7 weeks, got to my weight within 7 weeks, and it's now been another month and a half since then, and I've maintained that weight. I'm on a maintenance diet with them, which I intend to stay for the rest of my life because I love the way I look. I love the way that I can wear my clothes again. It's been a lot of fun. And my wife has been on board with it too. She's been very supportive. SOTA Diet Nutrition. SOTA Diet and Nutrition has been great for me. Join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-881-8686. That's 800-881-8686. 800-881-8686.
This year, Utahns are celebrating the 250th anniversary of our country, Utah style. Everything from Utah's red rock deserts and blue skies to our snowy peaks and canyons are worth celebrating. As America marks this historic anniversary, we invite you to honor the stories that ground us, the history of the people who came before us, and the places that shape us. Celebrating with Utah style means looking out for your neighbors, sharing a meal, working hard, dreaming, innovating, and finding connections with the people who make Utah, Utah. It's our land, our communities. It's our way of showing up for something bigger than ourselves. So raise a glass or a dirty soda and join us in celebrating our place in the American story. Find ways to celebrate and commemorate with your community this summer at america250.utah.gov.
Emergency traffic brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Another problem in Utah County, Cormac.
Yeah, that's right, Andy. There's this crash, and it was blocking a center left lane, and now emergency crews have arrived on scene and closed the whole freeway just so they can get it out and into the shoulder. This is on northbound I-15 at Pleasant Grove Boulevard. They're letting cars trickle through right now, but they'll quickly move that over, and hopefully the delays won't stack up too quickly. Otherwise, it's leftover delays on southbound I-15 approaching Center Street. That accident is still there, but they are completely out of traffic now and over to the right shoulder, so those delays really working their way out. I-15 through the, Salt Lake, Davis, and Weber County is completely clear drive. A healthy lawn doesn't need water every day this year. Jordan Valley Water asks you to water twice a week or less. Life is better with water. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather forecast, it's a hot week with highs in the 90s. Tomorrow, potentially reaching triple digits. A small chance of rain. Those thunderstorms, though, could be from tomorrow night into Thursday morning. Right now, it is partly cloudy and 81 degrees in Salt Lake City. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
That's the politics sounder.
I know. So around the state, Utahns are casting their ballots today in the primary election.
And we've talked a lot over the last few months about the congressional races going on right now. There are 3 of the 4 congressional races that have primaries, including the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd congressional districts. But there are a lot of smaller races going on, too. We've even heard about a few of them just today.
So we, on Your Voice, Your Vote, we want to continue our special coverage today and by talking about some of the smaller races that we haven't talked about yet on Inside Sources.
Yeah, it was interesting when we interviewed the Juab County Clerk. She said, there are interesting races here, 2 county commission races and the county sheriff. And
That's
I know
right.
in those small towns, those races can be huge, and the billboards get out or the lawn signs or whatever, and people take them seriously. And in counties like that, with largely Republican voters, that is the race. That is the election.
Right.
And the same with Davis County. He mentioned there's some interesting races there as well.
So let's start down south, Washington County. So there's a couple of county commission seats that are up down there. We have Gil Almquist and Bill Hoster for seat 1. And then seat B, or seat A, I guess. Seat B then is also Troy Belliston and Victor Iverson. These are both county-wide, so that's the way a lot of counties do it, right? They're not partitioned out by sections of the county.
I notice all of these races to watch are Republican races. Not a lot of Democrats if you're outside of Salt Lake County.
We've kind of talked about the few Democratic primaries.
Right.
Yeah, but you're right. They're largely outside of Salt Lake.
Carbon County, that would be Price area.
Yeah.
Utah House District 67, Republicans who are running there, J.R. Byrd and Yvonne Jensen. We interviewed J.R. Byrd a couple years ago when he was running for
Congress,
one of the congressional, and he came in the studio, I think, and talked to us.
Yeah. So these two candidates, they're running for Christine Watkins' seat in the Utah legislature. So Christine Watkins herself is actually running for county commissioner in Carbon County. And her position, that position is interesting to me because it's commissioner surveyor, which is an interesting combination. So she's running for that, and she does have a primary there as well. But for her seat, you have J.R. Byrd, he's the former mayor of Roosevelt, and his primary opponent is Yvonne Jensen, and she's a longtime educator and somebody who was born and raised in rural Utah.
But if you're in Carbon County, get out and vote. Get out and vote today. You still have 10 hours. Salt Lake County Council, District 5, Republicans Chris Knoll and Tracy Crockett.
And that's interesting, too, because as you're talking about the county council, you do have primaries here on the Republican side, but then they'll go up in the general against a Democrat. Chris Knoll is the former chair of the Salt Lake County Republican Party, and Tracy Crockett has been around for a while, active in politics as well. And I've seen her billboards as I come up I-15.
Yeah, District 5, I'm not sure exactly where that is, but that's one, if you're in Salt Lake County, that you can go out and vote if you're a Republican. Let's go down south to Utah County. The county commission there has a familiar name.
It does, and it's Michelle Kafusi for Commission Seat A, and Michelle is the former mayor of Provo. She's now running to represent the entire county, and her opponent in the primary is Brent Bowles. And so that is, if I remember right, being at the convention, Brent was the convention winner, but they're both on the ballot for today, and they'll be competing for Seat A.
She served a couple terms as mayor
She
of
did.
Provo, correct?
Yeah, she did.
And then
She had eight years.
Lost at the last municipal election,
That's
which
right.
was a year ago. So
That's right.
8 years now. She's running for Utah County Commission as a Republican.
Yeah, that's right. And then Commission Seat B is Carolina Herron, David Spencer, and Isaac Paxman. So Carolina came out as the convention winner. She has had a long history of also being involved in conservative Republican politics. She's running, again, like I said, for county commission in Utah County. And Isaac Paxman was Michelle Kafusi's deputy mayor. So that would be an interesting combination, right? If Michelle and Isaac were both to win.
Right.
And then David Spencer is another person who made it onto the ballot.
Yeah, that's Commission Seat B, and of course we talked about Commission Seat A. So 2 commission seats open in Utah County with some popular names.
It seems to be the year for 2 county commission seats, doesn't it? Like,
right, yeah.
So because it's a 4-year term, and so 2 years from now, the sole seat will be available. Because as we go up to Davis County, there are 2 commission seats available there as well.
Right. County Commissioner Seat A, Republican John Adams, Kendall Harris, and Scott Fletcher.
And Kendall Harris is the former mayor of Bountiful, and she didn't run again for mayor because she is going to run for county commission. I'm less familiar with the other 2 candidates.
Is she the most recent mayor of Bountiful?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know her. She's great. I mean, we're not promoting any candidate, but I served on a committee with her, and she was very, very helpful.
And then County Commission Seat B is Susan Lee, and she is the mother of Trevor Lee, who is a representative up there, and then Lorraine Kamalu, who is the incumbent. So they're in a primary race together.
And of course, I drive through Davis County on my way to work every day, so I've seen signs for every one of these people on my way down. There's Trevor Lee and Susan Lee. They seem to have their signs together.
Well, that's because they're mother-son.
Lee and Lee. I hadn't realized that until just now.
Yeah. So there are some other races too, of course, right? And we've talked about this already, but the Box Elder County Commission also has 2 people up. That's Lee Perry and I forget the other commissioner who's on the ballot this cycle, but they're up for primary elections. So just up and down the state, right? There's just some really interesting races that are happening. I think the county council races in Salt Lake County, those are interesting because they'll go up and Salt Lake County is an area where I would say there are competitive races come the general election, right? Not exclusively. I mean, certainly there are pockets, but overall, you can have right now the county commission is majority Republican, and that could change come November, but it might not.
And there are some Democratic positions, mostly legislative positions, that are running for that have primaries today as well. I know that Andrew Stoddard's position is up, and he's in a tough race.
So we have looked at some of that as well. And if you remember in Ogden, Rosemary Lesser had been the incumbent there. She lost for the House. She's a Democrat. She lost for the House race 2 years ago, but the Republican who beat her is running for the Senate. And so it's basically an open seat again.
Was she running again,
So
Rosemary?
she's running again, but she doesn't have a primary. She was the candidate of choice for the Democrats, but she's running again. So that'll be an election later on to talk about for sure.
She was the legislator furthest north.
The furthest north. She was the only one out of Salt Lake County, actually. Yeah, that's right.
Well, interesting. When we come back on Inside Sources, when Election Day ends and the primary races are all said and done, what happens next? We're going to talk about that when we come back after this break.
Murphy's Law says that if your air conditioner is going to break down this summer, it's going to be when you least expect it and at the worst possible time. And for a lot of homeowners, the fear isn't just the breakdown. It's worrying about what happens next. Is this going to cost a fortune? Am I going to be pressured into replacing it? Can somebody just help me figure out what's wrong? At Any Hour Services, that's exactly what we're here for. Maybe your system just needs maintenance to help prevent breakdowns before they happen. Maybe a part failed, and a simple repair gets you back up and running quickly. Or maybe your system's getting older, repairs are adding up, and you think replacing it makes more sense. Whatever the situation, we'll walk you through your options, answer your questions, and make sure you have the information you need to make the decision that's right for your home and your budget. Maintenance, repair, or replacement, you choose what's right for you. That's how Any Hour Services works. Options, not pressure. Call Any Hour Services next time you need help with your air conditioner. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Looking for the ultimate Southern Utah getaway? Enter now for your chance to win an incredible Cedar City vacation. One lucky winner will receive a Hotels.com stay, tickets to the Utah Shakespeare Festival, restaurant gift cards, a dinner certificate, a Cedar City gift basket, a Visa gift card, plus an America the Beautiful annual National Parks Pass. It's the perfect way to experience the best of Cedar City and Southern Utah. Enter now at ksl.com/win. Sponsored by Cedar City Tourism.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
You know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
Yeah, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, anything, you need to tell an adult, someone you know and trust. That can be hard, but speaking up about a problem is what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
I'm really interested to hear about how your parents talk to you at home, and how do you think they can kind of break through to you?
It's just to talk about it. It's just seriously it's going to be awkward at first, but if you keep repeating it over and over again, it's just going to feel natural.
Keep going, and soon we'll just be able to talk about it.
Talking about mental health with your teens is the power of we in action. Visit intermountainhealth.org/teen mental health.
I'm Christian Staples with Arctic Spas. Wellness starts at home. At Arctic Spas, we have what you need for home wellness. Hot tubs provide physical and mental relaxation, improve circulation, and stimulate better sleep, all while giving the perfect time to connect with loved ones. Swim spas and all-weather pools provide at-home, low-impact exercise, a break from gravity, and family fun. Cold tubs provide muscle recovery, reduce soreness, and provide the best mental boost. Saunas help you recover, detox, and improve your cardiovascular health. This can all be done at your home, ready whenever you are, and you can find it all at Arctic Spas. We are here to help you relax, exercise, and recover. We make it easy for you. You can find out more at ArcticSpasUtah.com or stop by one of our 3 stores covering all of Utah in Salt Lake, American Fork, and St. George. Arctic Spa, the only spa built for Utah's harsh climate.
My name is Tom.
My name is Cindy.
We give to and volunteer with United Way at our community free health clinic.
We know our time and money are going to the right places.
We don't just wear the shirt.
We live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case? Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI.
If you're struggling with your mortgage, there's a free government program that offers expert one-on-one advice about your mortgage options. Call 1-888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
Attention commercial property managers. Seal coating, crack sealing, striping, and patching across the Wasatch Front. Get on schedule today at GoPaveUtah.com.
Inside Sources.
Well, after tonight ends and the races are both officially and maybe unofficially called, what happens next?
It's really a kind of a different race, usually going from the primary to the general.
Yeah, your voice, your vote. Let's talk about what will happen after the polls close tonight and the candidates move toward the general election.
So one of the things that I think is interesting, and I see it maybe a little less in Utah, but you do have to pivot because your general election voters are different than your primary voters.
You know, and nothing I think spells that out more than what's happening nationally. And I do want to focus on the state, but a lot of Trump-backed candidates have been winning races around the country.
Yeah.
And I would assume that some of those people are going to have to change their tune a little bit as you get toward the general election because they're seen as pretty far right.
Depending
Maybe
on
not.
which state, right? But that's absolutely an issue in some states, right? It's like, okay, well, the Trump-supported candidate won, but they were the weaker candidate against the Democrat in the race. So
Right.
that's less a case in Utah. But what is interesting to me, too, is that you have in the primary race, if you're a Republican in Utah, it's a closed primary, meaning you have to be a registered Republican to vote in that race. In the general, it doesn't matter what your party affiliation is or none at all, and you can vote for whoever you want, right? And so some of the time it is, especially when we're talking about like the Salt Lake County Council races, for example, that we just mentioned, some of those voters some of those candidates, after they win tonight, they will have to pivot their messaging to appeal to a broader, less extreme base.
Yeah, I mean, Salt Lake County is a perfect example of a pretty purple county. It is, at least in a lot of parts, because we talked about some of the local county commission races. Of course, there's the first congressional district race. Whoever comes out of that may pivot a little bit from a,
if it were to be a progressive, they certainly would I think have to moderate their message to be able to pick up Republican and unaffiliated voters.
Right. Right now, it seems that a lot of them are sort of, I'm not Trump, I'm anti-Trump. That may not be the best message during the general election because, let's face it, Salt Lake County has a lot of Republicans, probably more registered Republicans than Democrats. Not that necessarily means a Republican will win. I think it's going to be a close race, but you've got to appeal to the broader base.
So one of the things that changes too is that everybody gets to take a break. They get to go on vacation for a minute, right? Clear their heads, do their laundry, because all of that backs up. And then typically you don't start the fall campaign until around Labor Day. So after Labor Day is when you start to see the general election signs pop up and you start to see more town halls, et cetera, for the general. But one of the things that I think is really funny, and I was mentioning this to Andy Cup, our producer, and to you as well, but I've seen this so many times. People will volunteer on campaigns, especially the congressional level campaigns, because they think they can get a job out of it.
Sure, why not? I mean, that's what you do. I mean, that would be.
It just doesn't happen very often.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
You can only hire so many people, I guess.
You can only hire so many people, and I will just say people who volunteer on campaigns maybe think more highly of their skills than they actually have. So it's not always the case, but I think if you look at who gets hired, for example, as the chief of staff, a lot of times it's not a Utah person. It can be a DC person, especially if you're a new representative, right? And you want to have somebody who knows the ropes in DC, and so you may hire that person. There are positions that are available in Utah when people make it into office for the first time. So, for example, whoever wins in CD1, because it's an open seat, they will have to do all of their hiring, right? But they're going to have way more volunteers on their campaign than they have positions, and they will be looking for people who have skills, specific skills, so that they can be in that spot.
What about the races that are largely decided tonight? I won't mention any because I think the general election is very important, but certainly we know there will be some races decided.
Yeah.
We even talked to the clerk in Juab County who said this is the race.
Yeah.
I mean, what do they do between now and November?
So really what they do is they'll do a smaller level of campaigning. There are some races where for sure it will be decided today because there's no opponent on the general election. There are some unopposed races after the primary. So what happens is they will do some signs, they will do maybe social media messaging, but Utah, because we're such a supermajority state, and not exclusively that, but really because a lot of the races are decided primary night, a lot of the spending happens before the primary. And then there's less spending, there's less fundraising that happens after.
Yeah, I know a lot of my Republican friends who win primaries. I sometimes tell them to go on a cruise.
Right.
Just don't get in trouble.
You need a
Don't do
break,
anything
man.
foolish between now and November.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, just don't do anything crazy. But I mean, you can't. You've still got to campaign. You still got to be out there. You still got to be
I would say
speaking. And
but
there will
it's
be
so much
debates
less.
for some of them. Right.
Yeah, there will be debates for some of them, but I'll just say it's just so much less for a lot of the races after you hit the primary, which is why it's always a little bit of a head scratcher to me in Utah where we see lower turnout in the primary and then higher in the general because, I mean, just to be honest, your vote probably has more impact in the primary than it does in the general.
Yeah, for a lot of these races. I wonder what do the candidates do today? I mean, you can't do much campaign. It's the checks in the mail largely.
Yeah, it's the honk and waves. It's the calls to, if they're calling their people. If they have done a good job of canvassing their voters, they know where their supporters are. They'll be making sure those people are showing up to the polls. You call them, you answer questions, those types of things. That happens today. I think too, it's important to know that if there are people who feel like they're in safe seats after today's election, they may start getting some training in whatever that new role is if they're going to be a new person in that position. That absolutely happens after the general election.
So they can hit the ground running.
Before the swearing in. And that's whether you're congressional or your state, because you're going to have training. And so in November, whoever the new state representatives are, they will have freshman orientation and they'll have training. But I'm sure that people will be reaching out after the results are final to say, hey, I'm the Speaker of the House and I'm going to be running for I want that spot again. So will you please vote for me and please support me? So those types of things will absolutely be happening after tonight.
And I would assume a lot of people who after tonight, in addition to sort of keeping their nose clean, between now and the general election, will start thinking about, okay, if I do win the general election, where will I go? Like you said, and sort of get some idea what you're going to do so you can be sort of prepared for that. I've seen people do that in the past. I know Derek Brown, for one, who I helped with his transition team 2 years ago when he won the Attorney General's race. He was working it hard after the primary. And when he took office, I mean, if you want a textbook of how to transition,
he was ready.
Right? Yeah, just follow his textbook. It was really good. I do think when we talked about some of the races that are too close to call, I was wondering obviously 8 o'clock is going to come tonight. The polls are going to close. We're going to be until 9 o'clock. But there will be some races we won't know about tonight.
Yeah, that's probably
There's
true.
always a glitch. There's always
something where they're closer, right? You have to be within 1/4 of 1 percentage point to trigger an automatic recount. But most races are not that close, right? And so we have seen sometimes where the ballots that are cast, the ones that have to be cured, and what that means is they have to match the signature to the signature on file. If it doesn't match, it's flagged, right? And then they have to contact that voter and say, is this your signature? Can we verify this, right? So you do see sometimes people who look like they're ahead as after the polls close, and then they end up losing once all the ballots are counted. But I think we'll know most races.
Right. And I know people have talked to me sometimes about how is it that they're able to call a race 10 minutes after the polls close.
Yeah.
I would say there are certain races you could call a week before the polls close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to wait.
Do it, but
you've got to let people vote, and that's so important because you don't want people to think my vote's not going to count.
Right.
So get up, and vote. Your vote does count. You've got 10 hours to get up and vote, and by all means do it. Don't let anything be an excuse not to vote today.
But some of it comes down to math.
Yeah, right. And our county clerks are working hard. They really are.
Yeah. So that's been a fun discussion. Look, in the next hour of Inside Sources, we're going to talk more about the Democratic primary race in the 1st Congressional District race. But we're also going to head back to Washington, D.C. and get updates on a rare visit to Capitol Hill by President Trump. Stay with us. We'll be back.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour, the Dutchman Fire south of Saratoga Springs, is the latest major wildfire in the state. The fire started last evening and burned over 80 acres during the night. Rocky Mountain Power even shut off the power to thousands of homes in the southern part of the city while firefighters started their initial attack. Fireworks go on sale tomorrow, but current conditions have many fire officials asking everyone to consider alternative ways to celebrate.
It's a dangerous year. What might have been safe last year is not safe this year. Fireworks are an ignition source. They're no different than a match.
Utah State Fire Marshal Ted Black says most of the state is under Stage 1 fire restrictions, barring open flames, outdoor smoking, and fireworks. Most of the fires happening now, he says, are human-caused, and Black says now's a good time to look at your surroundings and maybe choose another way to celebrate America 250. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, the reflecting pool in Washington, D.C., still plagued by green algae and peeling blue paint.
Just weeks ago, President Trump said the renovations at the reflecting pool would last decades. But now, after $16 million in taxpayer money spent, the president says there will need to be repairs and the reflecting pool will likely need to be drained.
ABC's Rachel Scott says new security cameras have been set up and there are officers on horseback patrolling the pool after President Trump says vandals were responsible for the problems. Your money at this moment, the Dow down 38 points. That's to 51,674. Coming up next, we'll get a look at your weather forecast, which includes a lot of temps in the 90s. KSL News Time, 10:01.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Kitchen and bath transformations start with AMC Building Materials. AMC Building Materials is a large kitchen cabinet and countertop supplier serving both wholesale and retail customers. AMC offers factory direct pricing on all interior remodeling materials, giving you exceptional value without sacrificing quality. Most standard items are available for quick payment and pickup right away. AMC Building Materials provides professional service, free design, and free on-site measurements, along with expert installation by top AMC professionals. From bold kitchen designs to beautiful functional bathrooms, AMC delivers offers outstanding value with styles you'll love. And best of all, most projects can be completed within just 10 days. Come experience beauty you can see, quality you can feel, and service you can trust. Get directions to the new AMC Building Materials showroom at 3678 South 700 West today and schedule your free estimate. Visit amckitchenslc.org. That's amckitchenslc.org.
Are you looking for a fun way to get your kids outside and off their screens this spring? Try flower gardening. Starting a beautiful flower bed or easy container garden is a great hands-on way to spend quality time together while teaching kids about nature. They'll love digging in the dirt, picking out their favorite flowers, and watching them bloom, all while making real, lasting memories. Plus, gardening is a great way to slow down, soak up some sunshine, and enjoy the fresh air as a family. This is Brian with Olson's Greenhouse, and my family has been growing flowers with care for 4 generations right here in Utah. Whether you have a big sunny backyard or just a small shady front porch, our colorful, locally grown flowers make it easy to add beauty to your home. So this spring, start with a new family tradition, one that grows with your kids. Get inspiration at Olson's Greenhouse Gardens on Instagram or find a garden center near you at ogg.com. That's ogg.com for Olson's Greenhouse Gardens.
From the people who brought you It's the Dog Park comes.
It's a hot spot on your dog's leg that the internet says you can treat it at home. You're not sure though, 'cause now it's oozing.
Protect your dog from injury and illness with Progressive Pet Insurance.
Ooh, he's licking it. Super gross, dude.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. 'Cause I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Auto loan rates as low as 4.74% APR. And here's Cormac Bone.
We had some accidents in Utah County on I-15. Those have all cleared off the road, so it's clean on I-15 from Provo all the way to Salt Lake. And we had a caller call in about some debris on the road on southbound I-15 near 3900 South. They've also cleared that off the road. So I-15, once again, a problem-free drive really between Ogden and Provo. Just regular delays to expect in Utah County eastbound 2100 north in Lehigh from 2300 west over to I-15. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, so weather forecast. Listen to the next 4 days predicted highs. 96 today, 98 tomorrow, 93 on Thursday, 96 again on Friday before temperatures drop a bit into the 80s by the weekend. Right now it's 82 degrees and partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Your voice, your vote on KSL News Radio.
If you're just joining us, you should know that it's primary election day here in Utah.
And on today's Inside Sources, we're getting all the last-minute updates that you need to know if you haven't already cast your ballot.
And for this segment, we do want to talk about something we don't see a lot here, and that is, in Utah, a Democratic primary.
That's right.
For Congress.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to talk about the 1st Congressional District in Salt Lake County, and we're joined by Lanny Chapman, the Salt Lake County Clerk. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Absolutely. Happy Election Day.
Happy Election Day. It's so fun. It's like Christmas Eve for junkies. I mean, nerds like us. Okay, look, I wanted to ask you specifically about voter turnout. Are you seeing an increase over most years, and can you narrow it down to CD1, or is it just countywide?
So far, I can tell you countywide, we're at about 26% as of last night. That does not include all of the in person voting on election day, nor people that are dropping off their ballots today. But we're seeing a pretty robust turnout percentage wise than we're used to seeing at this point in year over year.
So what are you expecting, and what is a good turnout for primary elections? Because some people don't have a primary to vote for.
Exactly. So a decent turnout for eligible voters is between 30 and 40% turnout. Being at 26 before election day, that puts us in prime territory to easily surpass those numbers.
So, Lanny, can you tell us what? Gosh, I lost my question, but let me ask the different one. Tell me how this plays out with people who want to maybe vote in the Democratic primary, but who are not registered Democrats. What is that looking like?
Great question. So in Salt Lake County, we have a unique primary this year. We're used to seeing pretty robust Republican primaries, which we have throughout mostly Southern and Western Salt Lake County. But this is the first time in known history for a while that we've had both a congressional race and an at-large county, Salt Lake County as a whole race for a Democratic primary. And as we know, the Republican Party is a closed party, and that was decided by the state party, where you have to be affiliated with the party to participate in their elections. The Democratic Party, on the other hand, about 20 years ago, changed their rules to allow it to be an open primary, meaning while eligible affiliated Democrats were mailed a ballot, everybody is in fact eligible to vote in it. So people who have not already voted, because again, one bite at that apple, you can go in person to any of our 19 vote centers and request to participate in the Democratic primary.
Lanny, it's been a year now since the change with the way mail-in votes are counted. Have you noticed a change? Are people getting the message and getting those mail-in ballots in timely, do you think?
So I have definitely seen a shift in voter trends in how they're returning their ballots. So early on, people mostly utilize the post office. And as it's gotten closer to election day, I'm noticing more people are utilizing drop boxes over the post office. After this election, I'd love to come back on and talk and actually bring all the numbers to you to show you kind of where the trend comes in and goes as far as voter behavior when it comes to how they have their voice heard.
That would be super interesting. I want to just go back to the question I was asking you about people voting in the Democratic primary. How many so far, can you tell us, have asked for a ballot?
So in Salt Lake County, we received 7,500 requests to participate in the Democratic primary. And that number alone doesn't sound like much when you consider the fact that we have over 600,000 registered voters. However, if you take it into context compared to the 2022 general, which was the last midterm 2022 primary, which was the last midterm primary we had, we only received 1,300 requests for the Democratic primary. So that's a huge amount more, hundreds of thousands more than 4 years ago.
Okay.
Lanny, what could we expect from Salt Lake County after the polls close tonight? I know you're not going to announce results at 8:01, but what do you think you might be able to tell our listeners tonight before they go to bed?
Absolutely. So as soon after 8 as we can, we will release results. Those results will include all of the by-mail ballots that we have processed, probably through yesterday, through Monday that we received. We're able to process all the way through scanning. Later on tonight, we will also release in-person voting, and that's early voting and election day votes, excluding, of course, provisional votes. In the state of Utah, we allow people to do same-day registration, meaning it just takes my team a little bit of time to ensure that you were, in fact, eligible to participate before we count your vote. So that will take a little bit of time, but that's a very small amount of the in-person voting. And then again, on Thursday, we will update numbers again, and Friday if we need to.
So you will be posting some numbers tonight shortly after 8 o'clock.
You betcha.
Oh, wow. That'll be fun because we're here from 7 to 9, Lanny, so we're gonna be looking forward to those.
So
absolutely.
So what can you tell voters today if they put off voting until, I don't know, say 7:30 p.m.? What can you tell them about voting today?
So if you still have that yellow ballot at home on your counter or with you at work, and you would like to participate using your by-mail ballot, find one of our drop boxes. We have 28 drop box locations throughout Salt Lake County that are available through 8 p.m. tonight. So if you make it at 7:59, you're good to go. Do not wait till 8:01. Or if you prefer to vote in person, we have 19 fabulous vote locations throughout Salt Lake County. Whatever one is most convenient for you, please utilize. Make sure you have your valid ID with you so that we can make sure that you're able to participate and vote that ballot.
So there's not a designated place for each person to go. They can show up, if people show up at the county offices on 21st South and State and want to vote tonight, they can do that, even if they live out in the hinterlands of Salt Lake
Even
County.
if you live in, yes, as long as it's in Salt Lake County.
Yeah, right.
So where can voters find the information about where those 19 locations are?
Absolutely. The best place to find information on drop boxes, on vote centers, on just normal information about this election, go to my website, slco.vote. And I have a web page dedicated just to the 2026 primary.
All
right. Thanks so much
Lanny.
for joining us.
We'll be talking to you tonight.
I hope so, actually.
Thank you.
Lanny Chapman.
Good job,
happy
by the
election
way.
day.
Yes.
All right, you too. You too.
A lot of fun races in Salt Lake County.
Happy election
Yeah,
day.
very
It's so
exciting in
fun.
Salt Lake County.
Yeah,
For both parties.
It is. And, you know, I think it's fun to see the votes come in. And we are actually going to know quite a bit of information by 8:10.
There are several
maybe
that we're
8:10.
both watching in Salt Lake
Yeah,
County,
we
and
are.
one or two that go between counties, Salt Lake and Utah County, Salt Lake and Davis County.
There are some that cross,
that'll
yeah.
be
So you have to
interesting.
look at both the counties.
Right.
So up next on Inside Sources, I want to talk about something that's still related to elections, but it's not necessarily about today's primary. I want to talk about a judge blocking a federal citizenship database because it could wrongly purge voter rolls. We'll be right back.
In April, I decided I needed to do something about my weight because whatever I was doing wasn't helping. And I actually wrestled in high school, and I always thought I could get to any weight I wanted. But high school and age 60 are two different things. And I'm well past 60, and I could not lose weight to save myself. I didn't want to take injections or didn't want to take pills. I wanted to do something based on diet and nutrition. And I contacted SOTA, S-O-T-A, Diet and Nutrition. And I said, help me figure out a way to lose weight. They said, go onto this plan. We'll give you a program. You can purchase what you need at the grocery store. You don't need to buy the food through us. You don't need to go see a doctor. They have the nutritionist that contacts me, and we have set up this plan, and it's been working very well. For the first 7 weeks, I lost over 4 pounds a week, got to the weight I wanted to, and then I thought, how am I going to keep it? Guess what? I've kept it. In fact, I've even lost a few pounds since I met my target weight, which I'm really happy with. SOTA Diet Nutrition, S-O-T-A, say it with me, state of the art.
Do you know how to tell if a clogged drain is something to worry about or not? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I understand it's annoying and inconvenient, but sometimes a clogged drain can be a sign there's a more serious issue with your sewer main line. If the drains in the lowest level of your home aren't draining, or you flush a toilet and it comes up somewhere else like a shower or a floor drain, I'm urging you to look at this as more than just an annoyance. The last thing I want you to experience is a sewer backup. If you're a homeowner experiencing any of these issues, the first step would be to snake the line to see if it's just a blockage, which one of our drain techs can do for only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
As KSL celebrates America's 250th anniversary, we recognize that the foundation of our nation is built upon ingenuity and determination of Utah's cornerstone innovators. And right now, we're joined in studio by the CEO of Industrial Supply, Jessica Urgaitis. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I was really interested to learn that Industrial Supply has been around for 110 years. That sounds like a really long time.
It's a long time for anybody, but for a family business to make it for 4 generations is really pretty incredible. We're pretty proud of it.
Jessica, I have to say I have a special spot in my heart for Industrial Supply because all during college I worked next door at an auto parts store.
What?
And we did business with Industrial Supply, and they were so good. But I just remember going in the showroom there because it was like I was like a kid in a candy shop. I loved Industrial Supply. I loved the people that worked there. They were so kind to us and so generous. And I just remember the program you had there and the stuff you had there. And it was it's probably the same now. I just I haven't been in there for a little while, but I just remember that feeling that you had at Industrial Supply and what a great place it must have been to work.
It's been a great place to work, but our team is still amazing. So from when you were going in there many years ago, it's still a homey feeling, and our guys that work the counter, they work really hard, and they want to make you feel comfortable, and they want to help serve and get you what you need and get you out of there on time. And so the retail business for us has changed quite a bit. We don't have quite as much walk-in just based on the way business is happening now, but we're there for you if you need to come in and buy something.
So 110 years of business means that you have survived the Great Depression, World War II, major mine closings, the 2008 Great Recession, a global pandemic. How are you still standing? What's the secret?
Oh, I wish I could bottle it up because there'll be something coming again. But I think it's just making sure that we put our customers and our employees first all the time and trusting our team to get through it. And sometimes they've been very difficult throughout the generations. I've been through several myself in 27 years at the business, but there will always be something. So we have to be ready and nimble, and we just have to trust that we're doing the right thing every day and be ready for what comes at us.
Jessica, can you stick around? We want to talk to you more in a few minutes.
I would love to.
Utah's Cornerstone recognizes legacy companies like Industrial Supply as KSL celebrates America 250.
Let me ask you a question. You have a best friend? How big would it shock you if somebody told you that your best friend just killed somebody?
911, what's your emergency? Someone on the other line said they kidnapped my son, and they're demanding $500,000.
I've asked myself so many times, what in the world happened?
Ransom is available now. Listen at ransompodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
The new Inside Sources.
Look, we have been talking all things election today, but I wanted to shift gears just a little to this interesting story from the Associated Press. Quote, this is the headline. Judge blocks use of federal database to check citizenship, says it could wrongly purge voters. Greg, what's your reaction to that headline?
So this was interesting. It's part of the Save America Act or Save Act that the president put into place to make our voters more of a nationalized concern rather than on the local level. Well, the judge said that's not the way we do things in America. And first of all, states dictate their elections and decide how to do things. And second, the Congress has the power to do other things with respect to elections. And the judge in this case said, the president sort of overstepped his boundaries. He got out of his lane a little bit when he wants to put a federal database to check citizenship, and it could also, he said, wrongly purge voters. And some people may be excluded because they don't meet the criteria, even though they would otherwise be lawful voters.
Look, we've had this conversation off and on this show recently because there's been so much effort. You mentioned the Save America Act, right, which is being pushed by Senator Mike Lee. There's not the votes for it in the Senate at this point, but having a centralized database is really interesting. And one of the things our lieutenant governor has said is, she's not going to turn over voter rolls just because the federal government says, hey, give me everything you have. But it's interesting to note that in this system that is supposed to flag, and I'm using air quotes again, supposed to flag non-citizens. She was initially flagged because she was born on a military base overseas. So she is a U.S. citizen, but she wasn't born in the contiguous 48 states.
Yeah, and this judge was really concerned about the way it was done. Here's a quote from the judge. She said this: "All in all, the federal government has knowingly trampled on the privacy rights of American citizens in a manner that threatens the sacred right to vote." And in her order explaining her decision, she said the court cannot stand idly by while that happens. I mean, she was very concerned about the way this happened. And this is a single federal judge, so in Washington, D.C., which is where you would expect it to go. And we don't have these universal rulings anymore, so this will certainly be appealed. But it's the first step toward stopping this, really, whatever we're trying to do with nationalizing.
It's a centralized database, yeah.
Right, yeah, it just doesn't seem to make sense. And Trump has also called out Utah, of all places, about their mail-in voting. I mean, come on, we're doing things right. You know, the problem with some of the things that we're talking about here, and the reason some of this was done, is because we don't want illegals voting. And the data is that it just doesn't happen very often. The numbers are so minuscule that it's not a hill we want to all die on.
Right. One of the things that the judge pointed out also in her ruling is that Congress expressly has prohibited the government from centralizing Americans' personal identifying information, and that the federal agencies that created the SAVE program, which is this database, knew, quote, that the database violates those statutory protections. So it's like they knew that there were already laws that protected people's privacy and their private information, and yet they put together a database that said we want it all, and we want it all in one centralized location.
Yeah, of course, the Department of Homeland Security is not happy about this. They're concerned about the ruling. It will certainly be appealed, and they have said that they will, quote, continue to aggressively defend President Trump's immigration enforcement agenda and Department of Homeland Security's use of the SAVE system to verify citizenship.
So again, it's already rife for potential problems, right? And you could kick citizens off the rolls because this database, I'm sure, scanned by AI, makes mistakes. So one of the things, too, I think to note is voting by non-citizens is already illegal. It's punishable as a potential felony. It could lead to deportation. And it is, as you mentioned, exceedingly rare.
Exceedingly rare. We just don't see it. I mean, Utah did some sort of a audit, and it was like
27
astounding
out of 2 million.
Yeah, the numbers that were just, that would make no difference. But again, I mean, understanding what the president's agenda is to try to nationalize elections and why he wants to do that, I think flies in the face of what Congress originally, and the framers of our Constitution originally thought when they said, here's how we're going to handle elections. Mm-hmm. And by the way, the states are doing a pretty good job. And we've had a perfect example of that today.
Yeah.
We talked with a state elections clerk. We've talked to several county clerks who seem right on top of
three
things.
County clerks. They're the ones actually responsible for running the elections.
Right. And tonight at 8 o'clock, we're going to have some election results because of the very competent people that we have here in the state of Utah from all levels of electioneering and the county clerks, rural, bigger counties, and the state office as well. I mean, I think Deidre Henderson has done an incredible job with our elections here in Utah.
Yeah, and keeping them secure.
Right.
So, look, part of this SAVE system, this database, is part of Doge, right? And so Elon Musk is like, okay, well, we're just going to do, we're going to make this free for election officials, and then we can start kicking people out. But one of the things that they did was they kicked people out who have been naturalized citizens, some of them for more than a decade. So they go to show up to vote and they're like, you're not registered to vote. You can't vote. You're not a citizen. Wait, what do you mean? I've been a citizen for more than 10 years.
That's the problem you have is you want to, on the one hand, exclude people who shouldn't be voting, but on the other hand, we end up excluding people who should be voting.
That's
right. And it seems like if you want to err on the side of letting more people vote, you know what I mean? And not to do it inappropriately, but if you're making it so restrictive and so difficult to vote that legitimate citizen voters are unable to cast a ballot because you've made this so painful, what are you really doing?
Right. I wanted to also mention that because there's some confusion between what pieces of voter registration are public under current Utah law. That includes your name. That includes your party registration. It actually includes what elections you voted in. So if you vote today, that'll be on what's publicly available to other campaigns. What's not included, your social security number, your driver's license number, your birth date, your phone number, your email, those are not included. But what this database wants is all of that information.
Right.
So identity theft is also, I think, a potential hazard here for sure.
Yeah, and we had some concern in Utah some time ago when I forget how they phrased it, but a lot of people were sort of given the choice of opting out of voting because they felt that their personal information would be compromised. And we're like, no, don't do that. I mean, I even had people call me as an attorney saying, hey, I don't want my information to come out. What should I do? And I'm like, vote.
What's going to happen? What the end result of that is that you're going to get campaign literature, right? Because campaigns can find you and they'll send you stuff, right? That's what happens. Also, to get the voter list, you do have to pay in Utah, and you do have to sign an affidavit that you will use it only for authorized purposes, which do include campaigns. It also includes people doing research, etc. But there are fines and even potential jail time if you misuse these lists. So they're not like freely available to anybody who wants them.
This was very timely. I mean, the fact that this block of the federal database to check citizenship comes out by a judge literally in the days and hours before some states. I mean, there are 4 states holding their primaries today, including New York, Maryland, South Carolina, and Utah. So it's not an inconsequential day for primaries, and we've had primaries the last several weeks. It seems like it's a very important time.
Yeah, and we've talked about this, but primaries I think started maybe in March. Different states have different schedules, but yeah, we're really churning on primaries right now. So it's interesting too that this judge, the ruling, 75 pages long. Holy cow, right? Yeah. NPR has a story on it, and they say that they were the first outlet to report that this massive expansion of SAVE to turn it into a tool to check citizenship had not followed protocols to provide public notice under the Privacy Act. So they're talking about, like, we've been talking about this for a while now, and we're saying, okay, now a judge has said this just is not okay. This violates voter privacy.
Yeah, and it violates federal privacy laws, and I think people are concerned about that because, I mean, there's nothing more private than what you do in a
That's right.
at the ballot, and there's nothing should be more private than that. And personal identifying information that gives others access to your personal information is just not something people want to share when they're thinking about voting. Well, when we come back, I'm lost. President Trump could make a rare appearance on Capitol Hill in D.C. We'll chat with our congressional correspondent to find out why when we come back.
10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Andy Farnsworth. KSL's top story this hour today is Utah's primary election day, but it's too late to put a ballot in the mail.
In past primary and general elections, you could send your ballot back in the mail and have your vote counted, so long as the post office stamped it by Election Day. Well, that is actually no longer the case this year.
We now have to make sure that ballots are in the care, custody, and control of the county clerk by 8 p.m. on election night.
Salt Lake County Clerk Lanny Chapman tells me that means you need to at least be in line to leave your ballot at a drop box or vote in person by 8 o'clock tonight for your vote to count. This year, you're also going to see a spot on your ballot asking you to write the last 4 digits of your driver's license, state ID, or social security number. Try to fill that out, but if you don't fill it out correctly or forget to, don't worry too much. County clerks can still verify your ballot using your signature up until 2029.
That's KSL News Radio's Adam Small reporting. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. House lawmakers are expected to vote today on a housing bill that already passed in the Senate.
This legislation's key goal is to increase the supply of homes for sale. So right now, there's a shortage of an estimated 3.7 million affordable homes across the U.S. This bill restricts Wall Street investors from buying single-family homes, which has been a priority for the president as he faces record low approval on the economy. The bill also cuts red tape to make it easier to build new homes, and it provides grants to turn vacant buildings into affordable housing.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze reporting from Washington. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 38 points to 51,674. Coming up, several days of heat before a change. KSL weather's next. KSL News Time, 10:31.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
And as KSL continues to celebrate America's 250th anniversary, we recognize that the foundation of our nation is built upon ingenuity and determination of Utah's cornerstone innovators. We're joined again in studio by the CEO of Industrial Supply, Jessica Jurgaitis. Jessica, tell our listeners about Industrial Supply and what they can expect there, because I think it's a pretty broad base of things that Industrial Supply supplies.
Yeah, you're right. I think originally distribution was, build a warehouse, put stuff on your shelves, and keep people come in and buy it. It's a different world now for us. Our business is very solutions oriented. We bring inventory to our customers. We fill bins on our customer sites. We have vending machines that you can put safety gloves and tools inside of that get dispensed. And our customer base is not just construction, which I think is probably a misnomer. We serve the mining industry, aerospace and defense, the utilities in Utah and the Intermountain West, and general manufacturing. So we're everywhere in the Intermountain West. We're in a lot of different facilities doing janitorial, tools, safety, PPE, a little bit of everything.
That's awesome. So you carry over 200,000 products, which is a lot.
Yes, it's a lot.
What can ICS do? do for a business that like the big box stores can't do?
Yeah, it's a good question, and we have to ask ourselves that all the time. But it's solutions. It's doing things that are unique for our customers that the big boxes just can't do. Certainly, you can go in there and buy the same things at 100 different places in our markets, but we bring it to you. It's our people. It's the trust. It's the care that we have in our customers, and it really makes a difference, and people are loyal, and they come back.
Jessica, we've only got a few seconds left, but I think everybody knows that Industrial Supply has the big outlet on 17th South and 3rd West, yes. But you've expanded a little bit.
Yeah, we have 9 locations now, but that is still our headquarters, and we've bought buildings like Hafer's and some others and rounded out the property, so it's a massive property.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Well, thank you very much. We're going to stick around and have you back in a few more minutes. Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you.
I'm really interested to hear about how your parents talk to you at home, and how do you think they can kind of break through to you?
It's just to talk about it. It's just seriously it's going to be awkward at first, but if you keep repeating it over and over again, it's just going to feel natural.
Keep going, and soon we'll just be able to talk about it.
Talking about mental health with your teens is the power of we in action. Visit intermountainhealth.org/teen mental health.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at uccu.com. And here's Cormac Bone.
Really calm roadways all across the Wasatch Front. No delays on any of your major freeways. Just the normal and light slowdowns to expect. Mountain View Corridor, both directions at 3500 South and West Valley. And the 201 freeway in Magna, especially approaching 7200 West. This 4th of July, hit Bear Lake. Garden City welcomes Starship with Mickey Thomas. Plus food, fun, activities, and fireworks. Enjoy a free concert. Visit bearlake.org. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather today. Salt Lake City should hit 96 for a high, then 98 on Wednesday. We stay in the 90s through Friday, but then the wind arrives for the weekend and temperatures will drop by over 10 degrees. Right now, though, 82 degrees, partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. I'm Andy Farnsworth from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, we're hearing that President Trump is set to make a fairly rare trip to Capitol Hill as he tries to unify Republicans around his latest agenda.
So one of the big hang-ups is that Mike Leave's Save America Act, he is just dug in his heels. He wants it to pass. He doesn't have the votes. And so the president is going to basically lobby.
Let's get more on this with Deseret News congressional correspondent Cami Mondo. Cami, thanks for joining us this morning. She's joining us live from Washington, D.C.
Me.
So, Cami, look, I know we're headed into a holiday, and it feels like there's a lot of stuff happening in D.C. right now. Is it because we're heading into a holiday?
Yeah, it kind of feels like they're trying to get everything they can done before this summer recess, before all these holidays, kind of take up the whole calendar. So there's kind of like the all-out sprint right now in Capitol Hill.
So let's start by talking about the president making a trip to basically lobby for the Save America Act. What does that look like, and how do you think it's going to play out?
Right, they're already making preparations for his trip tomorrow. He doesn't come up to the Hill that often just because of the safety concerns, but basically he's going to come to this Senate closed door lunch, and we're not sure exactly what all will be talked about, but the Save America Act will definitely be at the top of the list. That's something that the president has been pushing to pass for weeks and months, and Senator Mike Lee has really been amping up his social media pressure campaign as well.
So tell us where that sits right now, the Save America Act. Is it floundering in the Senate? Is it something that isn't moving forward and that Trump and maybe Senator Lee want to give it a little shot in the arm?
It's essentially something that Senate Republican leaders have kind of just deemed dead on arrival. They tried a couple months ago when they did that floor takeover where Mike Lee wanted to have continuous debate until they could pass it, something known as the talking filibuster. That did not work out, and they had to move on to other legislation. Mike Lee wants to go back to that marathon debate, but Republican leaders are kind of sitting him down to be like, listen, we don't have the votes to overcome the filibuster. That would be the 60 votes, which would require Democrats, and they don't have the votes to get rid of the filibuster altogether. And so Republican leaders are kind of pleading with him to let it go. He won't. The president is going to come up here, and we'll kind of see where that conversation takes them.
So I wanted to also ask about a couple of other things. So I saw you post on X about a tale of two Utah senators basically competing votes on the housing bill. Can you talk to us about that briefly?
Yes, absolutely. That was one of the bills that passed yesterday. It's one of the only big bipartisan packages we've actually seen come through Congress in the last year and a half. It's this big housing reform bill. It'll go to the House today for passage. But John Curtis, posted this lengthy statement in support of the housing package. He is in favor of those reforms. Meanwhile, the next few minutes, Mike Lee had his own statement where he's actually against that housing package, saying it amounts to government overreach. And, it's one of those signs that he has a lot of packages he's not for, and he wishes they would go back to the Save America Act instead.
Which side are Democrats mostly on?
Democrats are mostly in favor. It kind of depends on which lawmaker you ask, but it has most Democrats in support of this. And you'll only get some conservative Republicans who don't like some of these reforms.
Yeah, it has quite a bit of support, bipartisan support, doesn't it?
Yes, and it's actually going to go on the floor on suspension of rules, which means it's going to need a 2/3 passage in the House, and it's expected to get that.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And then finally, I wanted to ask you about what Congress wants to do to make social media safer for kids.
Right, there are a lot of bills circling around in both the House and Senate right now, basically looking to hold social media companies accountable, making, guardrails for children who are using AI chatbots or using social media accounts to basically make sure kids are safe, not seeing explicit content, not getting exposed to content that may cause self-harm, that kind of thing. You're seeing a lot of different bills. There isn't exactly, the House and Senate aren't exactly on the same page just yet, but there is a lot of bipartisan support. So it's really just nailing down what those details are to see what they can put in a final package.
And Cami, when do we expect the president to arrive on the Hill, and what do we expect to happen once he gets there? You've mentioned that he's having a closed-door meeting with some senators. Is that specifically the Republican senators?
Yes, it will be with Senate Republicans, those who choose to go to this lunch. Not everybody has to. We expect it to start around 1 p.m. Eastern time, and it could go, for maybe an hour. Trump sometimes likes to talk a lot, so it could go longer than that, but we're expecting it to be, early afternoon tomorrow.
Okay, so Cami, let's go back to social media, because I saw one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about this is I saw a post on X of yours where you talk about it includes portions of 14 different bills. And that, is it becoming an omnibus bill? All lump everything in on this Kids Internet Safety Act?
It's becoming more clear that it is going to be kind of a larger package, especially because there are so many different proposals out there. And I think the strategy that, these Republicans and Democrats who are negotiating what their strategy is let's get a little bit of everything that people want to make sure that it actually can pass. People will vote for it if they say, well, part of my bill is in there, so let's get this whole thing passed. I think that's their strategy. Of course, the 14 bill package that we're looking at right now is on the House side. The Senate is trying to work on its own, so we'll see how those line up, if at all.
I wanted to ask you too, do you have any insight into how this might mesh with, say, for example, Utah laws set up to try to protect kids online?
Right, and this package would basically establish a federal framework that basically every state law that doesn't have as strict standards would need to implement. But for states like Utah that already have some of its own guardrails and regulations, they can keep those so long as they meet those different standards that are in the federal framework.
Is there some, I don't know, timing with respect to the 4th of July and the America's 250 that's coming up that's got the president anxious in getting this done sooner rather than later?
Right, you will see some Republicans, particularly in the Senate, who do want to get this done before the 4th of July. Whether that's going to be possible, is anybody's best guess as usual. But they do want to get it done before then, because then once you get into July, you get to that August recess where they're gone for about a month and a half. Then you come back for just a month in September. So the timing is not really on their side, and they're going to want to get this done sooner rather than later.
So, Cami, in the last minute or two that we have, can you give us an update for what you see on the ground there for America's 250 celebration coming up soon?
Right. Basically, all of the action right now is on the National Mall. You can kind of see it every time you walk up to the Capitol. They have all kinds of things being set up right now, like the Great American State Fair. You have a Ferris wheel that was just put out there. You have tents lining up from the Capitol to the Washington Monument. So they're really getting ready for it. There's going to be a lot of people here, a lot of exciting things to see, but it is definitely packed down there.
What does a reflecting pool look like these days?
Last I checked, it was looking pretty green, but that was a week ago. So hopefully the rain might be helping with that. Who knows?
There you go.
Greenish blue. All right. Thanks, Cami. Cami Mondo, Deseret News congressional correspondent. So lots of stuff happening in D.C. too while we're back here saying, hey, go vote today.
But it doesn't sound like a lot of it's going to happen before the 4th of July.
I think that I think that's actually probably a safe bet.
And there are some Senate Republicans who, let's face it, are lame ducks and may not be as interested in following the president's agenda lockstep as they would have been had they not been in that position politically.
Even before that, we've been talking about the Save America Act for months, and they just do not have the votes. They don't have them. In fact, I saw Senate leadership go online on X and admonish Senator Mike Lee, if you think you can get the votes, go and get them. That's your job.
Yeah, so I wonder what he must know something that Cami Mondo doesn't, or at least have some expectation that something's going to get done between
he's hoping. He's hoping. All right, next on Inside Sources, a familiar voice on KSL's airwaves is taking her in-depth skills to the podcast world. We're going to chat about a brand new project Maria Chaleos has been working on after the break.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
So we're celebrating America 250 here at KSL. Woohoo! We're taking a closer look at some of Utah's cornerstone innovators, the companies that have really built up our state and our country. We're joined in studio again by the CEO of Industrial Supply, Jessica Urgaitis. Thanks for joining us, Jessica.
Good to be here. Thank you.
So we've mentioned America's 250. We're celebrating it. Look, your company has been part of Utah's story for nearly half of that, and really just started a few years after Utah became a state. What are some of the ways your business is celebrating America 250?
Well, we're having our own celebration with our 110th anniversary, so it's nice that it parallels. I think some of the history of our business and shining through some of the stories about how we got here and why we came to Utah and how we've persevered has been a big part of what we're trying to do. But it's nice to be a part of the larger celebration and really proud to represent the Intermountain West in Utah and what we've been able to do here to help build Utah in so many different ways. That we've been on many, many job sites, and all of them, really, I think we've been involved with since the jump when my great-grandfather made it here and opened his business in 1916. So it's fun to see those projects come to fruition and know that we played a small part.
So, Jessica, I've been familiar with Industrial Supply for 50 years, which is before you were even in the picture. But tell us a little bit about your history with Industrial Supply. You said your great-grandfather.
Yes, so I'm fourth generation. My father was our former CEO, so I grew up in the business. It was customers, suppliers in my home. I really learned the business just from listening through osmosis when I didn't even know I was going to work for the business. But I came to the company after college, and it wasn't a lifelong dream for me. And I started just for a part-time job, and I've worked my way up to CEO, not intentionally, but that's what happened. And it's been a very fun journey. I love what I do. I love our business. I love our team, and I'm proud to represent our company now and to continue the legacy of our great-grandfather.
All right. Well, congratulations on your 110th anniversary. And we really appreciate your company and companies like yours that help us celebrate America 250. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
This is Colin Keary from the New Millennium Group. Have you ever had a question for your financial advisor only to find out that the next available appointment is months away? At New Millennium Group, we believe that financial advice should never be limited to once-a-year review meetings. Life happens every single day. Markets change, retirement questions come up, family situations evolve, and when they do, you deserve answers. That's why we pride ourselves at the New Millennium Group on being accessible when our clients need us most. Whether you're wondering about your investments or a major life decision, our team is here to help provide guidance. We're not interested in being the firm you hear from once a year. We want to be your trusted resource throughout your entire retirement journey. If you're looking for a financial team that values relationships, communication, and responsiveness, we'd love to meet you. Give us a call today at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or visit us at utahsfinancialplanner.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
911. Tell me exactly what happened.
My son and his wife and their 2 children haven't responded.
Susan Powell disappeared on a snowy morning in 2009.
Your wife is missing, Josh.
Yeah, but
And you want to think about it for a couple of days?
The podcast, Cold, has gone deep on these kinds of stories.
I'd had this overwhelming feeling that he had done something to her already.
Clearly, something happened on that couch because he cleaned it.
Find and follow Cold wherever you get your podcasts.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Inside Sources.
Well, one of the great things about doing a talk show is we get to spend more time on a topic. So instead of 40 seconds, we can spend 8 or 9 minutes or so.
And starting today, you've got another opportunity to go in-depth on the news now, thanks to a brand new podcast in KSL.
On the KSL News Daily Podcast, Maria Chaleos is really going to dig into the most important and interesting local stories. The first episode just dropped today, so we're going to talk with her. Thanks for joining us, Maria.
So good to be here.
We're happy to have you.
8 or 9 minutes, but I can spend 15, 20, 25 minutes in a podcast.
How would
really
it be?
Go in depth
Yeah.
on a story that you need more context to. Or I kind of like the behind the scenes.
Oh,
talking
absolutely.
with reporters about what happens behind the scenes people don't actually see.
That sounds fun.
So tell us where you're starting with this and some of the segments and podcasts that you've got in the works.
Oh, you want me to give away all
No,
my
don't give them away.
secrets
But
at the beginning?
what
Let me
type of
tell
things
you.
will you be talking about?
Absolutely. We start out with the 3 things that you need to start your day. So every day when you wake up, there are at least 3 things that you need to know really to make your day just a little bit better or to keep you better informed. And then we take one of the biggest news stories of the day and we go in depth. We have so many great experts here on our staff to help out with this and go behind the scenes. Holly actually joins me on this first episode with Bridger Beals-Svetko, who's at KSL.com. There are politics people, and we kind of went in depth today on the election, things that people need to know about the election, and got Holly's unique perspective as a former representative. And yeah,
when can I get on? I want to be.
You're going to be sorry that you asked
this
question because there will be a number of times that I need a legal expert.
So
you bet that that's going to happen. Oh, and I need to tell you, there's a Before You Go segment that's lighter at the end of the show. For example, today I looked at birding and how bird cams have really been more popular, and everybody has a bird cam now, so it's a real fun birding story at the end of the podcast.
I'm a big bird watcher. That'll be fun.
At the end of each show, we have something a little lighter. Maybe it's something human interest. Maybe it's something fun to do for the weekend. Just something to brighten your day a bit.
So what niche specifically are you hoping to fill with this podcast? Because there seem to be a lot of them out there.
There are a lot of them out there, but there aren't a lot of local podcasts, and there aren't that look specifically at local news, and there aren't a lot that go in depth on big local issues. I mean, we're talking, you can see all the issues we are facing in our society right now with the data centers, with nuclear energy, with the housing problems we're facing. And they can't do that as well as we can because we have so many experts working on those stories.
I think a local podcast just makes so much sense, Maria. And tell her, how can our listeners find this? Where is this podcast?
Wherever they like to listen to their podcasts is where they're going to find it. And, the reason for it, you have to be kind of like, what is the niche kind of for this? We're busy people, and we carry around our phones. And we have, 15, 20 minutes waiting for the train or waiting for the meeting to start, and we didn't hear the news in the morning. Or we're getting up in the morning and we can just listen to it on our phone very simply. So it's really reaching out to people, really giving them the news where they want to get it. I mean, we all know that we carry around our phones
everywhere.
That's the way it is.
So what time do these drop?
5 in the morning.
Oh, gosh.
Right.
So early risers, you can get your news.
Absolutely. On Apple and Spotify this morning, 5 a.m. It was right there for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are you hoping that listeners will get from this podcast that's maybe different from some of the national ones?
That's a really great question. I think this is just a little bit, I want to say it's more personal. I've lived in Utah my entire life, Salt Lake for almost there were about 5 years I didn't live in Salt Lake, but still lived in Utah, down in Price, Utah. So I think I do bring a different perspective. This is my home. I care about these things. We are really talking about issues that hit close to home, people's hearts, how they make decisions for their families to make sure that their families are prosperous, how to keep their families safe. So I think we, as an entire KSL newsroom, have a lot to bring to that others can't bring to it. We have a bigger staff, for one thing, right?
How often will you publish a new podcast?
Every single day.
Oh, you're kidding.
Well, Monday through Friday.
You're doing five
Monday
podcasts a week.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So one of the things that I love about podcasts is that I can speed it up. So how does it sound on 1.5 speed? Have you listened to yourself?
I don't think I'm going to do that, Holly. I might come up with some weird quirks in my personality if I start listening to myself that way.
One of the things, Maria, that I'm a big podcast listener. In fact, I've gone to podcasts instead of listening to audiobooks, really, because I feel like I can get that contextual information and get it in a quick way. So you have such a long history of covering Utah news, and you've already mentioned you've lived here for a long time. I just want to give you a shout out that you just got a big national award called the Gracie. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about it? Because you just came back from New York.
Yeah, that was probably once in a lifetime for me. I've never received a national award. I've received, several regional awards for our news coverage, but it was the first time. This is a women's award, and it was for large market, midday talk and news. Wow. And it was for all of the in-depth coverage we did for middays in the past year. So very proud of that.
Yeah.
It was those women, the women, oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of the organization, but they do such a beautiful job with those awards. They're so organized, and they brought in just, celebrities, TV, radio celebrities. Some I can't even think of their names.
Well, we
right
have
now.
our own celebrity right here in studio. So this podcast by national award winner Maria Chaleos.
Now I'm blushing.
This is kind of a pivot for you, a different program than what you've been doing. I mean, you've had the
A
news
little.
show. Yeah. I'm really interested in it. I listen to podcasts on my way to work in the morning. So, and I have about an hour commute. Can I take in your podcast every day?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I'm used to doing something different all the time.
I know you
As
are.
a journalist, if you don't reinvent yourself all the time, you're going to be a dinosaur and become extinct. I mean, we really need to reach people where they want to hear the news and how they want to hear it. And it's a reason that I began the podcasting course up at the University of Utah, too, to teach students how to be better storytellers.
Oh, I don't think I knew that about you. So you teach students how to podcast, too.
I do.
Wow. Okay, so are you going to, your next class, you're going to make them listen?
I don't know.
They probably will already. I need to take that class, actually. I'm jealous. I really want to do a podcast.
I think probably, I'm always telling them the best ways to do things. And a lot of times students want to pick the easiest ways to do things. So probably, I think if you can show them that you're not just talking about these things, it's not theory, that you can actually do the things, it does make a difference.
Yeah.
So it's called the KSL News Daily Podcast, and you can find it on wherever you get
All
your
platforms.
podcasts. Yep. So I have to look that up.
KSLpodcast.com, Apple,
and the first one
Spotify.
started today?
This morning.
At 5 a.m.
How did we get so lucky? So tell us about the first one.
Okay, so the first one was Holly and Bridger. We went into Election Day. We did a complete analysis of Election Day and the top issues that we're facing, and then got the little bird cam story at the end.
Which is really fun, right?
I gotta grab that one. Okay.
And if you're an AJ DeBonsa fan,
I've seen the
Oh wow, okay.
billboards around, the little placards that we have around the studio for that's what it's about.
That's what it's about.
Did you hear her tease though about tomorrow's podcast? Say it again.
If you like AJ DeBonsa, you want to listen tomorrow.
Who? I'll listen anyway, but
everyone knows AJ DeBonsa.
Even I know AJ, so
I've never heard that name before. But I like Maria Chaleos, so okay.
Yes, you have. So think about the draft, right? Think about the draft that's coming, maybe tonight while we're talking on our show.
Number one pick.
Oh, the Jazz.
Even I know
him.
Oh, I gotta wake up here. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No, he's a really cool kid, right? So that'll be really interesting to listen to too. So okay, any last plug you want to give our listeners?
I just hope that people will find this to be really helpful and informative on the decisions that they make in their lives. And I just think it's a great opportunity for our team to show their expertise. I mean, they're out on the streets every day covering these stories, and they have a side of the story that you don't get to see in really short news reports. So I think it's a great opportunity, and I'm grateful to and excited to be providing that.
All right. That was Maria Chaleos, and you can find the KSL News Daily Podcast at kslpodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes drop every weekday morning. I'm signing up. Thanks, Maria.
Okay, well, when we come back, Utah recently banned people from using government food assistance programs to buy things like soda. Now we have a judge that blocks that. Stay tuned.
KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. This is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Cameron Elliott. KSL's top story this hour.
Your voice, your vote 2026.
There are now less than 8 hours left to get your ballots in before the polls close. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson has more on how this primary election day is shaping up.
There are several key races that could be decided today, especially since the Republicans have closed primaries. Utah's Director of Elections, Ryan Cowley, tells inside sources they usually expect about a third to a half of votes to roll in today.
As of this morning, we're at about a 23% turnout, so it's a little light. We should probably get up into the mid-30s, maybe even up to 40%.
He says during the primary election, they typically see about 2% of people voting in person, while the majority turns their votes in by mail or to a drop box. But as a reminder, it is too late to mail your ballots. They have to be in the hands of the county clerk's office by 8 p.m. So if you haven't voted yet, your best bet is to turn your ballot into a drop box or go vote in person. Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
In other local news, a former corrections officer will be in custody for the next 30 days after investigators say he handcuffed his wife during an argument. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
A plea deal for James Smooin says in November 2025, he pushed his wife down during an argument, had a child grab handcuffs, and then handcuffed his wife, holding her to the ground and questioning her for 20 minutes. During his sentencing, Smooin told the judge he had used the handcuffs as he was trained, and the judge said in the future he should call law enforcement to get a more rational third party involved. He will spend the next 30 days in home confinement and then have probation for 18 months after. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow Jones is up 98 points. That's 0.1%. The S&P 500 is down 73 points. That's nearly 1%. And the Nasdaq is down 382 points. That is nearly 1.5%. Coming up, hot and stormy weather on the way. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:02.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
America First Credit Union has everything you need to get your money working. And for a limited time, new members get a $150 cash bonus for opening a checking account and $200 more for enrolling in and using direct deposit. If you're ready to do more with your money and get up to $350 cash, head to americafirst.com and become a member today. Subject to membership eligibility, terms, creditworthiness, change, and conditions. Additional requirements may apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
This summer, celebrate America 250 somewhere truly unforgettable. Bryce Canyon. Stay at Ruby's Inn, the closest lodging to the park, where you'll enjoy comfortable rooms, free hot breakfast, an indoor pool, and easy access to hiking, horseback riding, and gorgeous views. And mark your calendar for July 10th, when the Utah Symphony performs a free concert on the rim of Bryce Canyon, honoring 250 years of America in one of the most spectacular settings on Earth. Make it a summer to remember at Ruby's Inn, where you'll get more Bryce for your buck. Plus, enter to win the ultimate getaway, 2 nights at Ruby's Inn and a $500 gift card for dining and activities. Celebrate America. Experience Bryce Canyon. Plan your trip now at rubysinn.com. That's rubysinn.com.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. You deserve to love where you bank. Here's Cormac Bone.
No major delays on all our freeways across the Wasatch Front, so just minor slowdowns to expect, and they're pretty normal where they are. Southbound Bangerter Highway approaching the 201 freeway, some light congestion. Both directions of Mountain View Corridor at 3500 South, a little bit heavy. And the 201 freeway in Magna, some light and scattered delays both directions from 8400 West to 7200 West. Weathers Construction creates stunning functional kitchen remodels fast. Call 801-548-8409. Weathers Construction. Build your space better. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
This week it's going to be sitting in the 90s with a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, and then it falls to the 70s by the end of the weekend. Right now, though, it is currently 85 degrees and partly cloudy downtown. I'm Cameron Elliott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, a federal judge has issued a block on a ban. A federal judge has blocked the Trump administration, at least the Department of Agriculture, from banning the use of food stamps to buy things like sugary soda pop and candy. As I recall, our own legislature did something about that as well.
They did. So that's why I think it's a great thing to talk about. It could have some interesting effects here because it was in the 2025 session that they passed a bill that would ban SNAP benefits, so basically food stamps, but from being used to purchase soda/sugary drinks. but they had to apply to the federal government to get a waiver. So they got that waiver. It was granted. And now there's a judge that says, you didn't even have the authority to do that.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. So 5 states sued the agency, the Department of Agriculture, from doing these waivers and said, look, you've exceeded your limits, and what you're doing is unlawful and confusing and makes it difficult to manage things such as diabetes, which obviously you get help from sugary substances.
It's interesting. So this is U.S. District Judge for the District of Columbia. Her name is Amy Berman Jackson. One of the things she wrote is that Congress defined what food, and this is in quotes, what food is supposed to be. It did not authorize the agency to amend or waive the definition that it enacted. It did not authorize the agency to cut types of food out of SNAP entirely. So she's basically saying, you as an agency, you have way overstepped what you had authority to do.
You know, it's funny because Utah jumped right on this.
Yep.
And
it's part of the MAHA
To
movement.
some of us, I thought, well, maybe candy and sugary drinks shouldn't be purchased with SNAP funds. But, I mean, who am I? I mean, I guess I can understand both sides to this.
So we've had some conversations before, right, on, well, who gets to decide? And in fact, some of the people who were saying, look, we shouldn't pass a ban like that in the state of Utah because you're already dealing with people struggling with poverty, and now you're saying you also can't have soda and you can't have candy because we know what's better for you health-wise than maybe you want for your own pleasure, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, obviously you can't buy, well, I don't guess nothing's obvious, but alcohol and tobacco.
Yeah, so there are
stamps.
some things. So I wanted to talk about what you already cannot buy. You can't buy hot prepared foods, which is interesting because I think if you're going to make a change, maybe saying, hey, you can buy a rotisserie chicken at Costco with SNAP benefits. Right now you cannot do that because you can't buy hot foods.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? You can't buy alcohol, tobacco. We said that. You can't buy non-food items. So no pet food or soap or paper products, cleaning supplies. You can't do vitamins and medicines. So anything that's like a supplement, even if it's nutritional for you, that's not a qualification. And then the soft drink ban. So it means, we talked about this, but it means a flavored drink that has carbonated water and is sweetened with sugar or artificial sweetener.
So is that already banned?
It's already banned because of Utah's legislation. So what I'm saying is this federal judge saying the Department of Agriculture did not have authority to issue the waiver on these, saying that you can ban these foods. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with Utah's law as this goes and plays out.
Well, yeah, I think it's going to be stricken.
It'll probably be appealed, don't you think?
Oh yeah, of course. So all those make sense to me except hot prepared foods.
I know.
I don't get that. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to shift right now.
Yeah, we have a press conference with our Salt Lake District Attorney who's about to announce charges, in relation to an arson case. Let's join Sim Gill, who's giving a press conference right now.
Tony Allred, Allred, behind me right over here. We also have Captain Berg from the Salt Lake City Fire Investigations as well here, and their team as well. I wanted to take this moment just first of all to introduce that Salt Lake County District Attorney's Office just filed several charges. One charge against Matthew John Nelson for his alleged involvement in the June 19, 2026 fire in Memory Grove in Salt Lake City, Utah. It is alleged that Mr. Nelson used materials including wrappers and logs to build a campfire. Investigators determined that the fire spread into large shrubs and trees and caused damage in excess of $15,000. And as with all criminal filings, all persons accused of wrongdoing are presumed innocent unless and until convicted of a crime in a court of law. Because this is an active prosecution, I'll limit my response to that you've been provided with the charging documents. But I also wanted to take the opportunity to let the public be aware that during this extremely dry time of year, and given our historically low snowpack and rainfall so far, the fire danger in Salt Lake County is very high, and neighboring counties have an extreme fire danger. Very high rating means that the fires start easily from all causes and immediately after ignition, spread rapidly and increase quickly in intensity, And spot fires, starting new fires, is a constant danger. When conditions are extreme, all fires are potentially serious because the fires start quickly, spread furiously, and burn intensely. It is often too dangerous for firefighters to engage with direct attack and suppression tactics in such situations. So if you use fireworks or start a campfire, even if it is legal to do so, and if you cause a wildland fire, or if the fire damages homes or structures or injures someone, we will file criminal charges against you and prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. I want also the public to be aware that if you use fireworks illegally, whether in a restricted area or outside the days allowed by law, you may face arrest, or you may be booked into jail, and then we will prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. And just to kind of give you a context, the range of options that are available to the prosecution for those criminal conducts range from everything from a first-degree felony, aggravated arson, down to reckless burning, Class A misdemeanors, and depending on the context, the level of injury and harm that you may be causing to people. There is really no excuse for using fireworks illegally, and we call upon our community members to contact law enforcement officials and report any illegal fireworks use. We encourage our law enforcement partners to arrest offenders if appropriate, screen cases with us promptly, and we will aggressively prosecute those cases. If you put our community at risk through the reckless or illegal use of fireworks, you may face these criminal charges. And as many of you know, last weekend we saw numerous fires in Salt Lake County that endangered the lives and threatened property and compromised our air quality. Now is not the time to be careless with fires or to use fireworks recklessly or illegally. If you do, you may face consequences. It is the responsibility of the person lighting the fireworks or to ensure that they're doing so lawfully and safely. This responsibility is placed on the individual. Unfortunately, the consequence of such reckless or unlawful behavior is borne by us all as a community. So we just want to just raise that issue, because as we find ourselves in this compromised season and the danger being how high they are. With that, let me turn the time over to Chief Carl Lieb, and followed by Fire Marshal Allred, if he wants to make some comments. Chief.
Thank you, Sim. Good morning, everyone. Just to reemphasize what Sim just said, the conditions and the risk for wildfire right now are certainly elevated, not only in Salt Lake City, but across the state of Utah. If the fire activity in Salt Lake was any indication of what we have in store for us this summer, it is going to be a very busy and potentially dangerous season. So clearly the risk is not only to our public, but it's also to our firefighters who perform their duties in these really hazardous conditions. And I think some people often forget that. As Sim said, if people are shooting off illegal fireworks, or they're shooting off fireworks in a restricted zone, whether it's negligent, whether it's careless, whether it's willful, each one of these fire incidents is investigated. And if it's criminal, it will be prosecuted. Some are not criminal. But everyone needs to take extreme caution this year, particularly this summer during the holidays. Observe your local restrictions for your municipality. Be careful. Keep your eye out for what's going on around you. If you see illegal activity or potentially hazardous activity, contact your municipality. Let them know. Someone will come out. We'll try and engage those individuals. Okay? Thank you. We appreciate everyone's heightened awareness this year.
Thank you, Chief. I don't think I have anything to say that the Chief and our District Attorney haven't said very well. But it is the responsibility. If you choose to use fireworks this year, it is your responsibility to know the rules and the restrictions. Those restrictions are published on the Salt Lake City Fire website. They're published for countywide information on the Unified Fires website. Those maps are interactive, and just because you're using fireworks in an open area does not alleviate you of the responsibility of being careful. If it's been said before, and I'll say it again, this is not the year to not be careful with ignition sources of any sort. It is very likely that that type of use will result in endangering lives and the loss of property to potentially you and your neighbors. Thank you.
Been listening to a press conference by the Salt Lake County District Attorney announcing arson charges for an individual that's caused fires, and we have so many fires going on in the state right now. Where they've even pivoted to fires caused by fireworks. Of course, fires can be caused by people not putting out a campfire, and then of course you've got the arson situation where a person intentionally and knowingly creates a fire, and those crimes are prosecuted, as the DA articulated pretty well, based on the severity of the crime, the severity of the fire, and the mindset of the individual. Was it intentional or was it reckless? And was it a structure where people live in, or was it an open field? So they can range from serious felonies to a mid-level misdemeanor, depending on what the nature of the fire is.
And this specific charge was for the person responsible for the June 19th Memory Grove brush fire that happened.
Right.
All right. Okay, we're going to go on break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about how America's downtowns have dealt with the back and forth on working from home or working in the office. We're going to have a discussion about that when we come back.
How will we ever defeat the British?
By remembering what we're fighting for.
General.
A country of our own that will one day celebrate 250 years.
How will we celebrate, sir?
By going to Strong Volkswagen, where every vehicle is a dime.
A dime, sir?
Yes, one dime down at Strong Volkswagen.
Hear, hear.
With great price reductions on 250 vehicles.
It sounds glorious, sir.
Oh, it is. Lease new 2026 Jetta S, just $235 a month, $235. All-wheel drive Atlas, just $432 a month. And you get a lifetime warranty. Lifetime.
And financing, sir?
Those with a job and a dime shall drive away.
One dime down.
The 250 sales event.
Save thousands with event pricing on 250 vehicles.
At Strong Volkswagen.
For over 70 years, Strong Volkswagen.
Located downtown, strongvw.com.
Strongvw.com.
And no tax, right, sir?
Well, for details, call 801-596-2200.
Escape the everyday with a quick trip to Cedar City. Just one tank of gas from the Wasatch Front, but a world away in experience. Hike through the cool, refreshing beauty of Canara Falls, where red rock walls and flowing water create a stunning natural escape. Then head up to Cedar Breaks National Monument, where the air is crisp, the views stretch for miles, and the night skies come alive with thousands of stars. And when the sun goes down, step into the spotlight at the world-renowned Utah Shakespeare Festival, where unforgettable stories unfold under the open sky. From outdoor adventure to rich arts and culture to peaceful, wide-open spaces, Cedar City is the kind of getaway that helps you slow down, breathe deeper, and reconnect. So whether you're chasing fresh mountain air, unforgettable scenery, or a night of incredible live performance, it's all waiting for you, closer than you think. Discover the art of adventure. Find your inspiration in Cedar City. Plan your getaway today at visitcedarcity.com.
You bought an RV, and you got an automatic discount from Progressive by bundling it with your home or auto insurance. That's great, but a serious word of warning every RVer should heed. You don't need to talk about things like dry weight or dump stations. And you don't need one of those expensive water filter straws either. Because the most extreme thing most RVers encounter is a campsite without hookups. So just enjoy yourself and Progressive's automatic discount when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
And expanded Inside Sources.
So one of the things that people have wondered and talked about is how work from home policies affected America's downtowns and whether the return to office mandates have changed that.
Yeah, I think it's generally been not necessarily good for downtown. In the years since COVID, we've talked a lot about the effects of the changing work policies. Deseret News opinion editor Jay Evenson took a closer look at this trend, whether things have changed for the long term.
And Jay joins us in studio. Yay. Hi, Jay. Good. So talk to us about what you found when you were looking at the trends as 6 years now?
Well, if you just look anecdotally at some of the news stories, you might think that everybody's going back to work because a lot of big businesses are announcing that they're mandating that their employees return to work 5 days a week.
Right.
Wall Street Journal did a study in May and found that still about 26% of working days were spent at home. And this compared to 27% 2 years ago. So it's virtually unchanged. There's a stubborn amount of people who just love working from home, and they don't seem to want to change that attitude. But this is having an effect on downtowns because there's not as much foot traffic. There's not as many people coming down. We just saw here in Salt Lake a week ago, Market Street Grill announcing that they were going to close their downtown restaurant. And part of the reasons they cited were changing consumer patterns, lower levels of foot traffic, and reduced office occupancy. Which is kind of what we're talking about. So it's having an effect even here in Salt Lake, where we have a lot of downtown construction and a lot of plans for future construction. But we do have several office buildings being converted into apartment living, which is kind of following a national trend.
And you cited that, like you said, 26% of full-time employees work from home. At least part of their days they worked home, and 27% a year ago, 2 years ago. So it hasn't changed much, but it changed a lot from 2019 when it was only 7% of work days were from home.
Right. We heard about for years that this was going to happen, that people were going to start working from home, but it never seemed to catch on. It's kind of like electric vehicles. Everyone's going to have an electric car, but those sales figures never seem to go up every year. But then the pandemic hit, and it forced us all, and we saw programs like Zoom and Teams that we didn't even know existed before.
Right.
And we found out how easy they are to operate and how easy it is to have meetings and to carry on business. And we also discovered in a lot of ways that people were more productive if they were working from home. Now, it's a kind of a mixed bag. If you happen to be like me, where you have your wife at home and you have somebody to talk to and every day, I enjoy it. I'm home 4 or 5 days a week. But if you happen to be all alone and you don't have any human contact and sit in front of your computer at home every day, there are some mental health aspects to that are concerning. So not everybody likes it. And the other factor that we've discovered here is that older bosses tend to want people to come back to the office.
Mm-hmm.
The younger ones are okay with more of a hybrid style or working from home.
So I read a really interesting article also in the New York Times that said the secret reason that bosses want everybody back in the office is because they're basically narcissists and they want to be surrounded by people telling them how great they're doing.
I read that as well. And I can report that the Deseret News, we are not led by narcissists because they're perfectly fine with me working from home.
That's so funny.
That was very interesting, yeah.
So one of the things that you just mentioned that I wanted to touch on, I think that I hear maybe just like floating out there the idea that we are less productive if we work from home. But you said that's not so. And the New York Times article I just cited said that's not so. Tell us about that.
Yeah, there seems to be sort of this feeling that people are goofing off at home. And I think a lot of the managers that the New York Times is referring to like to float that narrative because it kind of feeds into their desires to have people come back to work. But actually, it's not really true. I love my coworkers and I enjoy the social interaction with them when I'm here. But frankly, after a while, I can't get any work done because everyone wants to talk. And it's nice, it's fun. But if I were to do it 5 days a week, I don't think I'd be nearly as productive as I am at home in quiet and peace.
You know, I'm especially concerned about the downtown aspect of this, Jay. And just from my own perspective, my wife and I used to both practice law in an office downtown, and at least one night a week, we'd go out after work and spend some time downtown in Salt Lake having a nice dinner, something like that, because we live up in the rural part of the state, up in Ogden Valley. She now works from home 2 days of the week and in the office 3 days. So we don't do that anymore. And Salt Lake's downtown is so vibrant right now. It's so good. There's so much going on that the idea, and you mentioned one of the restaurants that's been around forever that's shutting down. I know the New Yorker shut down a couple of years ago, Market Street. I mean, I hate to see this happen to downtown. I really do, but just from my own perspective, because Salt Lake has so much of a downtown vibe that you hate to lose that.
Well, I mentioned in here what's happening in Denver, and Denver is supposedly one of the hardest hit cities with this. And there's a developer who's going in and buying up empty office space and converting it into apartment space and children's museums and, various things like that. I think that there's going to be a cause and effect from that too. We look here in Salt Lake, we have plans for a lot of apartment and condo high rises near the Delta Center. There's going to be this new recreation sports type district there. That will bring more residents into downtown. I think a natural spin-off from that will be more downtown businesses and more downtown restaurants. We may be experiencing kind of a temporary lull before that takes effect. So it's not all gloom and doom, but definitely our habits are changing.
But it's a different group. I mean, it's not the after-work group. It's the people who are living there group. Again, I think that's a great idea, and I hope that does save the downtown environment.
Well, these people have to work somewhere,
Right.
and you're wondering if businesses will gradually come back to downtown in order to take advantage of those people who are living there. So I wouldn't write the obituary for all downtowns yet, but we are in an era of change.
Yeah.
I think for me that's the maybe silver lining, right? Is we're talking about there's a shift. So some as things change, some businesses ended up on the bad end, I guess, of having to shut down. But being able to convert office building into affordable housing even or apartments, I think that's a great idea actually, because we have so much shortage. You mentioned also this Wall Street Journal looking at about a fourth of the workdays being done from home. Most of what I've seen is that people are not 100% one way or the other when we're talking about unless the company says you have to be in the office 5 days a week. But we're seeing some kind of a hybrid, are we not?
I think we are, and I think studies show that that's the best for our mental health. If you can spend 2 days or so a week downtown talking with people.
Got your workplace collaboration.
I always wonder what's it like to be a new employee in the post-COVID era. You never get to meet the people you work with other than maybe on a Zoom call.
Well, I can tell you. Because I was hired by the Deseret News in December of 2020. It was a year and a half before I came into the office and got a badge for the first time. A year and a half.
Yeah, and I think that's a concern. You want to have your employees feel like they belong to something bigger and something exciting. And you only get that if you have interaction at least regularly with coworkers and team members.
I was surprised at the number of days worked outside of the home hadn't changed much since COVID. Like you said, the number, I would have expected people were back to work again a lot more than they were during COVID, but it really hasn't been as much of a shift as I expected.
Yeah, and like I say, the big companies make news whenever they announce that people have to come back to work.
Right.
But what with the mid-sized or smaller companies, it's kind of mixed, I think. And a lot of them, I think, are saving on real estate space by moving into smaller offices and then having people come in only a couple of times a week. So.
And I'll just say, as a parent, it has been really, really beneficial for parents who have younger kids at home to have the flexibility to say, I can do, 2 days at home and 3 days in the office or vice versa, and they're able to change. So there's a lot of stuff that I've seen that's been really beneficial. So
right.
Thanks for joining us, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
My
Thanks
pleasure.
a lot.
Thank you.
Save downtown. They've got a lot to offer. Salt Lake's
Allow
got a
people
great
to work from
downtown
home.
environment. Yeah. Well, next up on Inside Sources, Utah Fire Watch. We've talked a lot about new fires that are popping up and some that are spreading. What is that going to have to do with our fireworks season? Stay with us.
It's 11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Cameron Elliott. KSL's top national story this hour from ABC News. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that Border Patrol agents have more authority to deny certain green card holders. ABC's Devin Dwyer explains.
The justices today, the conservative majority now bolstering the ability of federal border agents to remove green card holders, lawful permanent residents who are accused of committing a crime when they come to a port of entry. In this case, involved a person coming back from China, arriving at JFK Airport, had been charged with a crime in New Jersey. The border agent said, you are no longer going to be a legal permanent resident.
In other national news, Iran's president is in Islamabad, Pakistan today to discuss the Memorandum of Understanding with the U.S. The White House says talks over Iran's nuclear program continue, with top officials claiming that Iran is willing to allow nuclear weapons inspectors into the country, but it's not clear whether Iran would ultimately agree to those terms. More from ABC's Britt Clennett in Jerusalem.
One sticking point is Israel's presence in southern Lebanon, and from that Netanyahu advisor, he told me we're staying in the security zone. But every time that Hezbollah reaches it, he says, we respond, and we will respond very forcibly. He reiterated, we're not withdrawing or taking out troops. He said, we're deploying to the best positions we can be at where those troops are secure.
Meanwhile, another round of talks is taking place between Israel and Lebanon about the conflict with Hezbollah. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow Jones is up 119 points, that's 0.2%. The S&P 500 is down 71 points, that's nearly 1%. And the Nasdaq is down 383 points, that's nearly 1.5%. Coming up, we've got stormy weather tomorrow. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:31.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Usually when something sounds way too good to be true, it is. Imagine someone saying you can cut your mobile bill in half. Sounds like a fantasy, but with Xfinity Mobile, it's the real deal. Because when you have Xfinity Internet, you can cut your mobile bill in half, plus try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. That's a lot of streaming, sharing, scrolling, whatever else you can do with your phone, all for half the price and none of the commitment. That means you'll save big over Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. Wild. Now all you have to do is think about how you'll spend all that extra money. Call 1-800-XFINITY, go to xfinitymobile.com, or visit your local Xfinity store to switch today. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Savings compare one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only after 12 months. Regular rates apply. Go to xfinitymobile.com.
This summer, Utah Festival Opera and Musical Theater is back. We're celebrating the 250th anniversary of America with a season that sings our nation's history and yours. First, freedom, passion, and unforgettable storytelling with the Tony Award-winning musical 1776. Starring two Michaels, renowned singer Michael Ballum and Metropolitan Opera singer Michael Sokol. Then, Gilbert and Sullivan's silly and swashbuckling. Okay, not really, but at least it's a pirate word. The Pirates of Penzance. Plus the moving romance of the last 5 years. This year, we're even honoring the legal system with the courtroom duo, Scalia Ginsburg and the lighthearted Trial by Jury. The first is based on the true story of two Supreme Court justices who couldn't agree on anything except for their love of opera. The second is another Gilbert and Sullivan romp that'll leave you laughing. Join world-class singers, a full orchestra, and the magic of live theater in historic downtown Logan. Bonus! Utah teachers and students get free tickets. UtahFestival.org.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-572-3344. That's 800-572-3344.
Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Learn how to save more this summer at UCCU.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
No problems reported on the Valley freeways. We're seeing good speeds there. We are also seeing backups, and this is going to be in West Jordan, both directions of 90th South at the intersection of 2700 West. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's going to remain in the mid-90s until Saturday when it drops to 82, and then Sunday when it keeps diving to 72 degrees. Right now, though, it is a warm 88 degrees and fair skies in Salt Lake City. I'm Cameron Elliott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, we've been talking about fires all week, and the growth in this state just keeps going more and more. Yesterday, more fires popped up and exploded in size.
I know, and I'm watching one right now. It's the Cottonwood fire down in Beaver County. It was just discovered yesterday. It's already burned more than 10,000 acres.
Yeah, and we talked to Toby Weed from the Forest Service yesterday, who described the iron fire that's part of Juab, Utah, and now into Tooele counties. It was 24,000 acres yesterday. It's more than 31,000 today. And a new fire in Tooele, the Hastings fire, has burned roughly 13,000 acres.
It's crazy. And look, with so early in the season, I know we've had texters, I know we've had commenters saying, is it time to ban fireworks ahead of the 4th and 24th? Because I'll tell you, fireworks go on sale tomorrow in Utah.
Yeah, and it's a big part of, I know my daughter used to sell fireworks every year for a cheerleading fundraiser. A lot of groups count on that. A lot of people have plans, have family events, things like that they count on fireworks. But maybe it's time to revisit that. Maybe it might be too late for some of these groups. But, fireworks are going to cause fires in the next couple of weeks. We know that's true.
I think there's no question. And we just heard a little bit of a press conference about a fire that seemed to be intentionally set in Memory Grove. But just saying over and over and over, there's so much dry vegetation. There's so much out there to really be careful. I'm just going to tell you, so far in 2026, the fire season, it's now a fire year, 343 total fires burning 64,000 acres in Utah. This is just Utah. 260 of them have been human caused, 56 natural, 27 unknown. So, whether you're deliberately setting a fire or it's unintentional, the result can end up being the same.
Yeah, and our governor is now urging Utahns to skip fireworks over wildfire concerns, and he's, I think, really encouraging some of the municipalities, some of the local cities to maybe take another look at whether or not they want to have fireworks or whether you want to ban those for certain areas.
Well, so one of the things they're recommending is leave it to the professionals, right? So you're going to have those fireworks that go higher in the air. You have fire suppression equipment on standby if you need to, right? So to say, look, instead of doing your own neighborhood fireworks show where you're getting aerials that may or may not go as high as you need, that may or may not land in your neighbor's backyard who has dry vegetation like mine, go to your city fireworks, watch your city fireworks, right? That's what they're recommending.
Yeah, and even those can be dangerous, although a lot of them are going to drones and things like that. I know in the part of the state where we live up in the Ogden Valley, I don't know this for sure, but my guess is that they're probably banning all fireworks up there. I know that there's an area in the east part of Ogden, for example. I think it's Harrison Boulevard. You can't light fireworks east of that because you're in the foothills there.
Right. We have the same thing in Utah County, right? There's certain areas, certain neighborhoods where you can't light off fireworks, but we do have one city and one town in the state of Utah that have said, we're done. You can't do anything within city limits or town limits. One is Stockton in Tooele County, and it's tiny. It's like 700 people. And then, less than 700.
They banned fireworks for the rest of the year.
For the rest of the year, yeah. That means no 4th, no 24th, and no New Year's Eve, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
And then the other one is Ogden, right? Ogden City is like, no, we just cannot do it this year.
Well, good for them. I mean, that's my neck of the woods, and that's very positive. But they've, I guess, banned it outright for the 4th of July, at least through the 4th of July. I don't know whether
at least in the higher risk areas, right? And so that's important to know. It's also important to know if you are going out to purchase fireworks. First of all, maybe don't this year, but if you do, you need to be sure that you actually can set those fireworks off in the area that you're wanting to. Now you can't go up the canyon and shoot off fireworks.
You found an interesting app that gives you some information about fires going on in the state right now.
It's called Watch Duty, and that is where I got all of the information about these alerts going out for evacuation. We talked about that with our Red Cross person yesterday. The Ready, Set, Go. Like, we want you to be ready. Okay, put your stuff in the car. Okay, it's time to leave. And then it was like, you absolutely need to leave right now. All of that came through this app. It's a 501c3 run organization, but it's called Watch Duty. And I know that they just barely expanded. Not only do they do wildfires, but they're doing floods as well with this Watch Duty app. But it's really informational. And I can find, like on the Iron Fire, that it's 31,300 something acres. I can see that on the app. I can see the press briefing that they held this morning about the latest update. All of that information is there. So there's no advertising dollars behind that plug. I find it very useful.
Was it the weatherman Matt Johnson that was in yesterday that told us there may be at least some good news with the monsoonal season coming and may bring some moisture in? I know that's not going to happen before the 4th of July.
I heard his forecast this morning saying there could be some showers tomorrow, which to me would be thunderstorms, which to me would mean lightning. So unless it's pouring,
good point. Yeah.
Lightning might not be the best.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I tell you, I've always enjoyed fireworks. As a kid, I always thought they were great, but I am absolutely in favor of banning them if we need to in certain municipalities. I have no problem with that at all. And if Ogden said we're not doing it, I know in the Ogden Valley they're going to say we can't do it. That's fine with me. People will do it anyway. People will absolutely do it anyway. You'll hear them going off when it gets dark, and law enforcement can chase them around or do whatever they want. But.
So what's funny? I'm not going to totally out my neighbors, but only a little bit. Back when Utah did not allow aerial fireworks, my neighbors somewhere in my vicinity would go up to Wyoming and buy the aerial fireworks, and then they would set them off. And I remember one July 4th, we did have a visit from local law enforcement to say, we can see those, and we know that those are not legal.
They're not legal. Now they are. Some of them are. You can still get, I think, a little higher grade in Wyoming. Don't go there, by the way. But I do think that some things that are not legal in Utah may still be legal. I don't know that that's true. It just seems like that's the case because people still drive up there.
So anyway, as we head into the holiday season, like I said, fireworks sales begin tomorrow. There are growing firework restrictions, but the governor pointed out he doesn't have the ability, at least not at this point, neither does the legislature, to say we're going to ban fireworks statewide. They don't have that. The municipalities have the ability to do that. And so if you're concerned, reach out to your mayor or your city council and say, hey, are we restricting? What are we doing this year for fireworks?
And if you're a city that already has 4th and 24th of July plans, fireworks, you're not going to ban them probably at this late point, but you could maybe ban them on a local, just at individual level, and have people not do them in their homes, but the city probably still going to end up doing some of the fireworks.
I think they are. I mean, just think about the Freedom Festival in Provo. Of course, they're going to do a fireworks show, and also, of course, it's professional, and also, of course, they have all the mitigation stuff in case, an errant shell falls on the ground. They have all of that.
Speaking of which, we're going to be at the Freedom Festival.
Well, at least the parade.
The parade part. We won't be lighting off fireworks.
But we will wave at you if you want to come watch us in the parade. So we're excited about that, Greg and I. So, okay, please do not burn down the state. Yeah. That's our point.
There's been enough fires already this year.
Okay, also, it's Amazon Prime Day, the beginning. And actually, let's be fair, there are 4 days, so it's almost Amazon Prime Week. We want to know what you're planning to buy this year. Text us 57500. And after the break, we're going to talk about some of the things that are topping the charts. It's not electronics. We'll talk about that when we come back.
I'm really interested to hear about how your parents talk to you at home, and how do you think they can kind of break through to you?
It's just to talk about it. It's just seriously it's going to be awkward at first. But if you keep repeating it over and over again, it's just going to feel natural.
keep going, and soon we'll just be able to talk about it.
Talking about mental health with your teens is the power of we in action. Visit intermountainhealth.org/teen mental health.
You trust us for news and information in your car. Now trust us at home. KSL News Radio has you covered, keeping you informed on the latest breaking news, weather, traffic, sports, and more. Listen on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. Just say, Alexa, open KSL News Radio. Or listen on the KSL News Radio Listen app. Text the word app to 57500. KSL News Radio. We have you covered.
911, coming back to what happened.
My son and his wife and their 2 children haven't responded.
Susan Powell disappeared on a snowy morning in 2009.
I said, Josh, where are you? You need to get home.
And her husband will never be held accountable.
Your wife is missing, Josh.
Yeah, but
And you want to think about it for a couple of days?
I'd had this overwhelming feeling that he had done something to her already.
I'm Dave Cawley, host of the podcast Cold.
Then he starts making phone calls to Susan's phone.
Hello, Susan. We are on our way back.
It's the deepest of deep dives into this tragic tale of abuse.
Where was Josh when Susan disappeared? I don't know.
Of one mother's desperate attempt to escape.
This is me, covering all my bases.
Help prevent it from happening again.
Our focus has and continues to be finding Susan.
Listen and learn by following Cold wherever you get your podcasts.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
All in together now, we can make it better. Can we do it? We rope it up.
Cause we know how to jump. Moving and eating better every day can help make you and your kids healthier. Search We Can online to find out more. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Cypress Credit Union is a member-owned financial institution in Utah that offers everyday banking, loans, and home financing. They also support businesses and provide financial education, helping members build stronger money habits. Vice President of Relationship Development, Amanda Morton, joins us with more.
At Cypress Credit Union, community isn't just something we support, it's who we are. For nearly a century, we've proudly served Utah families, businesses, and educators, helping people thrive at every stage of life. Our focus has always been on strengthening communities by meeting real needs and investing in long-term success. One of the ways we live out that mission is through education-focused programs like our Educator Mini Grants, which help teachers bring meaningful resources, tools, and opportunities directly into their classrooms. We believe when educators are supported, students benefit in powerful and lasting ways. We are also passionate about preparing the next generation for financial success. Our Learn and Earn Teen Checking program helps teens build real-world money skills through interactive financial education while earning up to $200 along the way. Whether we are supporting schools, empowering students, or strengthening local communities, Cypress remains committed to making lasting difference across Utah.
Cypress Credit Union's commitment to financial education, local lending, and community support helps strengthen Utah families, businesses, and long-term economic growth statewide. Learn more at cypresscu.com. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
When American troops withdrew from Afghanistan in 2021, thousands of evacuees fled to the U.S. for protection. Many Americans welcomed their new neighbors.
For the last week, the governor tells me his office has been getting calls nonstop with Utahns wanting to help.
When we saw the pictures and the videos coming out of Afghanistan, we prayed to be able to help them.
But then, what happened? Listen to Stranger Becomes Neighbor. wherever you get your podcasts.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Inside Sources.
So before we get to Amazon Prime Day, we wanted to continue the conversation just a little bit about banning fireworks. And we have on the line with us Mayor Kate Bradshaw from Bountiful, who has some really interesting information about what cities can and cannot do. Thanks for joining us, Mayor.
Thanks for having me, Holly.
I'm wondering if you could just tell us and our listeners, what can cities actually do to ban fireworks? Can you do a citywide ban?
No, we really cannot. There are a very small handful of cities, because of their unique geography. Think of a city like Park City, surrounded by mountainous terrain, or maybe because of their rural nature and the distance between homes and other urban structures. Things like a city like Stockton that may be able to use the existing state statute to do something like that. But most of your cities up and down the Wasatch Front, given the current state law, aren't going to be able to do that. The statute, the way it was designed, didn't give cities the ability to do a full ban. Instead, it asked us to identify terrain and areas that were vulnerable, like mountainous or brush-covered areas, ravines, areas where we're meeting that wildland interface, and to draw boundaries around that, but to otherwise, frankly, leave spaces where you have irrigated lawns and homes and neighborhoods open. So there's, I think, a bit of a disconnect on what we can and can't do. And, perhaps it's an area where the legislature or the governor would like to help us clarify that so that, people are clear on what's really possible under the statute and what's not.
Yeah, so I didn't realize that, and I appreciate you calling Mayor Bradshaw, because we misstated the law. I think we just assumed that the municipality had the carte blanche to prevent fireworks. Is this state law that you're talking about that gives that limit?
It is, and it's actually in. So the criteria that I was just pointing to, it is in 15A-5-202.5, and then that overall directive on our authority is in 53-7-225. And so that's where cities have been working with their fire marshals up and down the state to follow the law, to enact these restrictions, and to have these conversations with their communities. Several years ago, when aerials were added to Class C, that's the class of fireworks that right, regular people can buy and set off legally in the state of Utah, we were given some of these tools. And so just to use my city of Bountiful as an example, for those of you that are familiar with our street names and our geography, kind of a mid-level on the hill is a street called Davis Boulevard. And that for a long time under the old Class C was our boundary line, with aerial fireworks going further and higher. And then with some of the additions the state made a few years ago, we've moved that line to Orchard Drive or 400 East in Bountiful. So we moved it down the hill further west. But that's as far as we feel the current statute allows us, which still leaves part of my city available for residents to buy fireworks and legally discharge them. And I don't have in that criteria in 15A additional tools that really allow me to stretch that boundary any further. And I serve as president of the League of Cities and Towns, so I've been in touch with a lot of other cities in the last 24 hours where, very similar, where they've used the statute to the best of their abilities to make sure that sensitive areas are protected, but kind of calls for cities to do full bans leaves us stuck between what the public may want or is worried about, but the tools in our toolbox that state law has given us.
Thank you for that. I think what I take from that is that we need individuals to responsibly choose for themselves not to set off fireworks this year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there are so many great ways, and your cities and your counties have been engaged in America 250 planning, and there are so many great events. There are movie nights. There are bike parades. My community, we're doing a really great concert paired with a service project. And there are lots of great ways that as a whole city or as an individual neighborhood, an ice cream social is a great way to do this. A backyard movie night, great way to celebrate. Pick one of the classics. Watch Independence Day, and forego the fireworks.
You've probably got another problem, which is fireworks stands coming up in your city that are fundraisers for some of the high school and some of the groups, right?
It is a challenge. I mean, you hate to ever dissuade someone from something that is a fundraiser, but the governor is very right that the fire risk is just incredibly real all around us. We live in an incredible valley ringed with mountains, and those mountains are incredibly dry right now because of the drought conditions, and so we just need to be really thoughtful. And it's one of those where I'd be happy to donate to local school groups or community groups and just forego the actual purchase of.
Good idea.
Said
Good
fireworks
idea.
If that's, because the reality is if you're doing that, hey, it's about the kids. It's about the soccer team. It's about, the school trip they're going on. It probably isn't about, whether you're buying a gift card for sandwiches or fireworks. It's probably not really about that, right? It's probably really about that you appreciate whatever it is they're trying to do and want to support the kids in doing it.
All right. Thanks so much. That was Bountiful Mayor Kate Bradshaw with really interesting information about how much cities can and can't do to ban these fireworks. So we learned something today.
And the foothills on the east side of Bountiful are gorgeous and probably tinderboxes.
Yeah, that's right.
So be careful.
So we do want to spend the last couple of minutes of our morning Inside Sources talking about Amazon Prime Day. It's actually the beginning of 4 Prime Days, so almost a week. But it's interesting that people are using this as a measure to say, how's the economy doing?
And so what are Amazon Prime Days?
So it means that if you pay for an Amazon Prime membership, you don't have to pay for shipping on most of the things for sale on Amazon. So basically you get free shipping and they put things on sale, right? So typically you will see deals on electronics or chargers, etc. But one of the things I think that's interesting is people are expecting shoppers to purchase maybe what you would consider essentials, like paper towels and toilet paper. And
on Amazon?
Yes, on Amazon. And you can even get groceries on Amazon now. But I did look. I didn't do a 500-page search, but I did look and see if you can buy fireworks on Amazon. I don't see them. I see firework lights.
There's nothing you cannot buy on Amazon, but that's interesting news.
Yeah, so it's interesting. And so we did ask our listeners to weigh in. And we had Bob, who is one of our regular listeners, text us and say he's got his Prime order ready. But at the same time, we must be vigilant because porch pirates know it's Prime Week too. Really great point, right? They know that this is Prime Week and they may be watching for stuff that's being delivered to your porch.
And is it true that Amazon Prime Day is bigger than Black Friday and Cyber Monday combined?
That's what they are expecting for this 4-day period. They expect to do more sales than Black Friday and Cyber Monday 2025 combined.
Are there others joining this? Other similar groups than Amazon?
So they're not doing Amazon Prime Day, but they do want to get in on the game. And so, yeah, you'll see like Walmart and Target and other organizations say, hey, we've got good deals too, right? Because they know consumers are going to be out there spending money and they want to be part of the party.
Well, with Rebecca Scortis, every day is Amazon Prime Day because we get a box at our house every day.
I have to tell you a funny story. So we use Amazon regularly also. And one day, one of my adult daughters that lives at home was outside and she said, are you looking for Holly Richardson? And the guy's like, yeah, I know. This is the right address. Because it was like, this was pre-holiday, like a couple of years ago. And it's like, we were getting stuff every day. It's like, yeah, I know this address. Thank you.
Yeah, we certainly get our share of Amazon Prime.
Oh, anyway. Goodness. Look, I have to tell our listeners, remind them again, we are doing a special Inside Sources tonight, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., where we are going to do the last hour